Good evening and welcome to the evening session on day one of the New Zealand Track and Field Championships. It is what we are calling the Super Session. We have got rock stars left, right and centre coming out for your entertainment tonight. National titles on the line. We are all set and ready for the first of three heats in the women's 400 metres. My name is Nigel Yolden. Alongside me, Hayden Sherman. He is a running coach himself, host of the Kiwi Running Show podcast. If you haven't got that in your iTunes, make sure you do. Already we've seen some wonderful action. Hayden will give you a bit of a rundown on that. But right now you're looking at the first heat of what is a jam-packed evening here at Nopuniwai in Christchurch. A little bit breezy, it's fair to say. It's not blowing dogs off chains, but a few of them have been straining at the lead, it's been fair to say. As you can go through what we're seeing at the track this evening, what'll be of big interest, that women's 100 metres, of course the 100 metres for men as well. Zoe Hobbs, Osai Nketiah. Edward, though, under a little bit of pressure at the moment from a very talented young runner by the name of Tian Wilpin, and we will talk about that a little bit later on. There is the heat for the women's 400 metres. This is the first of two, and you'll see that they're going to get a good helping hand going down the back straight. The wind's sort of blowing across-ish, but this is more beneficial for them at the moment. And it looks as though that might be Madison Spence, possibly, or is that Sarah Pearce? It's actually Sarah Pearce who is showing out well there, coming through in lane number 5 as they make their way around that home bend.
Also, Elena Edgar Nemec just on the outside there, making a good strong fist of it for the first 200 metres there. So this is where, like you say, they're going to come into this really stiff headwind as we see Mackenzie's Jeffries, who's got the best time on paper this year, straining into that headwind. Look at that good strength. So heat 1 of 2 looks like she's going to take it.
Sarah Pearce in the middle. Coming down the outside as well does Anna Haywood. And Anna's just sneaking in front there at the moment, but that's a really nice one from Mackenzie Jeffries, easing down to the line. 1, 2 and 3. It's Jeffries from Haywood, with Pearce coming through in that third spot.
Yeah, so good solid time for a heat. So about 57 seconds.
57.86.
57.86. So nice and solid. She can go quicker, and she has gone a lot quicker than that this year.
I mean, what the real challenge here is, I mean, we've had the breeze, which is really sort of floating around as we see some of the javelin action. There will be a lot of focus because
Canadian, she's back.
It's going to be an interesting old battle there. So Jeffries came through in a time of 57.89. Anna Haywood, 58.5 seconds flat. Sarah Pearce with 58.91. Coach, tell us, how hard is it when you...
And we've seen it in the 400 hurdles earlier in the day. Those who just can pace themselves well and just manage the stride length and the stride rate save some energy for that nasty home straight.
Well, tell us about the day's session, because we have seen an age group record and we've seen some other very good performances. You were the man behind the mic for that session. Who stood out for you today?
Oh, it's been a fantastic morning and evening, afternoon. So Kayla Goodwin's been really the standout. She's a multi-eventer but has shown her class in the triple jump. Winning the under-20s, but in a new New Zealand under-19 record of 12 metres 76, so just solid jumping. She came back and got a bronze in the senior women's long jump, where Brianna Stevenson really impressed, jumping over 6 metres with a 6:08 new personal best in the long jump. And then Quentin Roux, the New Zealand's king of race walking, came within 8 seconds of his own national record in the 3K walk, which is phenomenal in these conditions. Just a fantastic performance. And then really one of the classy performers this afternoon was Portia Bing in the 400 metre hurdles. Just asserted her class and was running with daylight second, really.
So as we look at the second heat, that is Sophie Napper, who has got the inside lane, and as you can see is really showing up and really eating up this field at the moment. Outside of her in lane 5 is Steffi Burrows, Rebecca Joubert, Annalise Kalmer and Shannon Geary, the remaining runners in this particular heat. But at the moment, it is the runner from Otago on the inside lane. You can see her there with the ponytail bobbing along. That is bib number 493.
Yeah.
And it is Sophie Napper at the moment with the advantage as they make their way back into the straight, although it does look as though Annalise Kalmer is just sticking with her there for a bit.
Keep an eye on this girl. She's only 16 years of age, but she's got a personal best this year of 54.98. So look at this. She's just easing up now,
cruising.
just cruising through. So she's a classy young athlete, and we're going to see a lot more from her this weekend. So 57.92 with a jog at the end.
That's very nicely done. So that is the 2 heats of the senior women's 400 metres. We've got the gentlemen still to come. We will also be turning our attention to this particular event right here. This is the women's shot put. Of course, it does feature Dame Valerie Adams, but also as well, as you heard Hayden Sherman allude to before, also featuring too Brittany Crew out of Canada, Sarah Mitten, the University Games champion, is there. We see the first of our Canadian friends, that's Brittany, with her first throw. Dame Valerie Adams will be up in a couple of moments' time. Tori Hours in there too. Sarah Mitten, though, getting the best of Dame Valerie Adams in that shootout at the Sir Graham Douglas International. And we know what a wonderful competitor Dame Valerie is. She's already won 16 national championships, so she knows how to win these things. But what does that do to a competitor like Dame Val to have someone coming from overseas and snaffle one on your turf? And that track really is her home turf.
Yeah, absolutely. And welcome to all our Canadian viewers. I know there's a lot who are tuned in, and I was speaking to the coach actually of Sarah Mitten, and he said it's become a bit of a thing back in their shot put, their throwing community back home. Apparently in that competition where her performance came up on the screen. I think it was yourself who said, "Oh, hello." And so that's become a little phrase that they've been using to describe her performances. "Oh, hello."
Well,
so we might see more of those moments today.
We know Sarah is class. I mean, you don't win the University Games gold medal by chance. She is a very good shot putter. We've just seen Brittany Crew, I think it was 18.35 that I think her first attempt was for the 25-year-old Canadian. That was Lexi Maples that you just saw up on screen. We've got Andrew McDowell is scheduled to be in the circle next. Then it will be Dame Valerie Adams, followed by the World Junior Champion in Madison Weish. Then it is Sarah Mitten, then Tori Hours out of Canterbury as well. So quite a strong finish to this women's shot put field, which is one of the real features here. You can see young Andrew McDowell, 20 years old, out of the Pakananga Club in Auckland. Just the opportunity for some of these young athletes to share the circle with Dame Valerie Adams. And we talk about the roll call. And Murray McKinnon was doing some of the announcing, doing the introduction, and it really is impressive. Olympic gold 2008, 2012, silver 2016, 4-time world champion, 4-time indoor champion, 3-time Com Games champion, 2-time Commonwealth Games silver medalist, 16-time national champion, and of course she is the shot put record holder for New Zealand, as this year is the men's 400 metres.
Yeah, so we've got Nick Ash in lane 3, Bailey Cotton in lane 4, Lewis Andrews in lane 5, Liam Webb in lane 6, Shay Veach in lane 7, and Judd Cargan in lane 8.
It's Judd Cargan, a University of Canterbury representative, and it must be great for all the Cantabrians to be able to have the opportunity to perform, as we've seen Dame Valerie Adams with her first throw in the shot put. We'll hopefully get a look at that for you very shortly as we come through, and it is that man, Judd Cargan, in the outside lane. Shay Veach trying to run him down, but all these gentlemen, there's a bit of effort in, but they're all looking rather relaxed. This is going to be quite a grandstand finish from these 5 gentlemen.
Yeah, top 3 go through, but Shay Veach just so strong. He's New Zealand Secondary Schools champ, and just coasted on through. But who gets those next 2 auto qualifiers? So here is Val's first attempt, first throw.
So on that one there, and that was on replay, 18 metres 45. Here is her Auckland teammate, former junior world champion Madison Weish, and she gets that one out quite nicely as well. So Oceania champion last year was Madison, the under-20 world champion in 2018, and the defending title holder as well. Won last year, also took the national title in 2017. This is the lady we're watching out for out of Canada, 23-year-old University Games gold medalist Sarah Mitten.
So using the rotational technique, look how far that shot gets thrown out. That is a fantastic opener. Certainly out beyond that 18-metre mark, you want to say. So I think she got 1874, was it? Let me dig up the results from last time. 1884 to Val's 1873 the Sir Graham Douglas. So this is an AM corrected, 1779.
1779. So at the moment it is Dame Valerie Adams who has the advantage. We have it at 18 metres 45 centimetres. Only 10 centimetres ahead of Brittany Crew. Brittany's opening throw 18.35. And this is Tori Hours.
Yeah, so she's sort of number 3 in the New Zealand ranks behind Val and Madison.
Yeah,
She's been getting out around sort of that just sub 16 mark all season long. So 15.94 is her best this year.
So for those not familiar with track and field, what will happen in the shot put is each athlete will have 3 throws apiece. And then what they will do is they will then reorder that particular group. So the person who is leading after 3 rounds, they will become the last thrower in the rotation. As we look as Jaden Bush gets ready for what will be her second attempt. And so each of them will get 6 throws in total. It's 14.93 for Victoria, which Victoria will be a little bit disappointed with. It's just 18 years of age for Jaden. It's a nice throw though.
Yeah, she's the New Zealand Secondary Schools champ from December. So another one of these big talents coming up from the youth ranks. And next up will be Kaya Tupu South, who is another fantastic junior thrower. It's the team out there training these young throwers are just doing such a fantastic job. We had Shaka Sola in the comments booth this afternoon, and just fantastic hearing the stories of all the young athletes coming through. It's very exciting.
So we're now looking at the next heat as we see Kaya in the shot put circle. And so they're underway now. This is the next heat of the 400 metres. Luca Masia is in lane number 3. Bailey Stewart in 4. Braden Grant 5. Ruad Smith is in 6. Ifkemo Okoro is in lane number 7 out of Great Britain. And Quinn Hartley out of Otago is in lane number 8. Great to have the international athletes competing here.
Yeah, Okoro's made his presence felt in the domestic scene. He's won a couple of races this season, but lane 4 there, running very well. Bailey Stewart just trying to keep tabs, but here we go. This is the lactic zone. This is where things get painful. You can see Okoro just showing his strength and that stamina, but holding on there was Luke Mersika, running very well. So Luke is probably your number 1 domestic ranked runner when you take Okoro out of the picture. So it'll be interesting to see how Luke goes up against Shay Veach, who won the previous heat.
50.19 for Ifkemo Okoro of Great Britain, and as Hayden has already said hello to our viewers in Canada, hello to wherever you're watching around the world via the Sky Sport Next YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate your company, be you in Great Britain, Australia, Canada. I know we've got a good smattering of people as well following from the islands as well. So good to have your company. I know that we've got a lot of people watching last time out as well from Japan, given all of the wonderful Japanese athletes who were part of the Sir Graham Douglas meeting that we were part of.
What an end to the night with those distance events. I was fizzing on the sideline.
Well, as you should. We saw the second quickest 5,000 metres in the world this year. So, you know, and an Olympic qualifier as well. So a great finish to that event as once again we see Andrea McDowell with her second put. And then it'll be time for Dame Valerie Adams to step in once again. So Dame Valerie has been throwing consistently in the 18s, but yet to crack 19 metres this season. There she is, imposing figure, wearing the provincial colours as well. And a real good focus, as always. Doesn't muck about, just gets into her work in the throwing circle. Glide technique.
Oh, that's good.
That is good. That is good. Just
she means business. It rolls the shoulders back. Love it.
That is a great throw. A really great throw. Let's have a look at this one on the replay. Doesn't muck around. Hayden straight into her work.
Yeah, look at the speed she gets from that hip drive. Look at this. Just opens up the hips, drives the legs. Good speed across the circle. And that comes from doing a lot of deadlifts, a lot of squats in the gym.
We're looking at 1873 for
Now
Dame Valerie Adams.
that equals what she did at the Sir Graham Douglas, and a sort of similar time in the competition as well. So Madison with her second throw.
And she makes her way back. She's a 20-year-old athlete. Here's Sarah in the foreground. It's Madison at the back putting the blanket around because it is quite chilly with that breeze that's blowing. I know there has been some gusts up and around sort of 40, 45 kilometres per hour. So here is Sarah Mitten, the 23-year-old Canadian.
Yeah, beautiful rotational technique. Really generates a lot of speed and momentum with that shot, and then a nice release. And this is certainly the woman that Val will be keeping her eye on. And it's just so great to have this good domestic competition, because for so many years it was all Val just had to turn up and she'd tick the box domestically. But it is fantastic having these great athletes from Canada.
Well, we've got some sprinting action coming up for you as well, as Tori Hours completes the second rotation of the women's shot put. As I say, one more throw apiece, then they will reseed them. We've got some great athletes coming up in the para division, including Danielle Atchison, won a silver medal at the 200 metres in the World Championships last year. Anna Grimaldi, another outstanding. She's a Rio gold medalist in the long jump, also the current record holder as well over 100 metres in the T47 classification. This is the start of the third round of throws in the women's shot put. And that is Jaden Bush with her third, the 18-year-old out of Canterbury. It's a little battle within a battle, I suppose. Kaya Tupou South as well out of Auckland, who's had opportunities to be in this situation before, to be in the circle in and around this very impressive international lineup, headlined by Dame Valerie Adams, including the two Canadians. There is Kaya with her third throw. Around that 14-metre mark. The job being done by our officials, and they really do a superb job for us, as we can see there, the 100 metres para final. Let's stack Daniel Atchison out of Waikato Bar Plenty, Hamilton Hawks, Anna Grimaldi. That'll be a great wee battle. Alicia Baxter, Gina Hill and Anna Stevens, all out of Auckland. Montana Brown of Canterbury and Sian Murphy, another Aucklander as well. Lanes 2 and 3 will be the ones that will probably be keeping an eye on the most.
Yeah, Anna Stephen also went to the Dubai World Champs last year as well, and competed in the 100 and 200. Which in the 200, incidentally, she finished 7th. So with the para events, it will be done by a percentage of world records. So there's always these interesting races within the race, that the nuances of these domestic para competitions.
Just having a look to see what Brittany Crew has done with her third throw, as we get ready for Lexi Maples to have her third put in this competition. 17.83 for Brittany with her third throw. So her best one at the moment is still the 18.35. This is Lexi Maples. And you can see as well, just in the background there, the attendant holding on to the scoreboard gives you an indication as to just how breezy it is at the moment at Napunawai.
So that one just going out of bounds, and she fouls it out. So we saw Lexi earlier on in the long jump. So yeah, really good, strong all-around athlete.
Here comes Andrea McDowell. And then it'll be time once again for Dame Valerie Adams. Here is Andrea. And they're inside the sector. So it'll be measured up. As I said, they will then reseed. Some great sprinting action coming on a bit later on. Battle for the fastest man and fastest woman in New Zealand title. Always a fun one. Zoe Hobbs will be the favourite heading into the women's. But gee, I tell you what, Yeah, Wilpon given Edward Osai and Ketia a little bit of a hurry up last week in the Capital Classic has set the cat amongst the pigeons, hasn't it? The Big Ed?
Absolutely. And with Hamish Gill also had got an Eddie scalp so far this season. So back to Val. Here we go. Her third throw of the night.
There is the...
Yeah, Anna Grimaldi just running away with that 100 metres there on the back straight. Fantastic result from her. She had a really good afternoon in the long jump runway where she got very close to her personal best, and a couple of the athletes just finishing up there with Gina Hill.
So they've moved. Normally it would be down the main straight. 18.45 for Dame Valerie Adams. So her previous throw of 18.73 still gives her the lead in this competition at the moment. Here is Madison Weish. Yeah, doesn't give too much away. Good poker face, but I'd say she'd be a little bit happier with that one.
Yeah, looked around that 18-metre mark.
Which is near her personal best.
Now let me just, yeah, 18.32 is her best. So
I would say, despite the fact that it's a blustery evening, it's a brilliant evening with a good crowd that is starting to form.
And if the wind is ever going to help you in a shot put competition, it's going to be today because it is blowing from right to left, as you can see on screen. Here we go. The Canadian, it looked good from our angle. It's a little bit tricky to see.
Down the line, so but yeah, that'll be probably mid-17s, but just Sarah just looking slightly off what we have seen from her, and she has competed. She was part of the Porritt Classic, and obviously with that great win at the Sir Graham Douglas. But from what we've seen from her so far this summer in New Zealand, just slightly, ever so slightly off by her very high standards.
So confirmation, Anna Grimaldi won the 100-metre para sprint in 12.81. Fantastic run, 12.81.
Let's just put that in perspective. The New Zealand record is 12.79. So
wow.
win though plus 2.2, so it's just over. So anything under plus, if it was over plus 2, it means that it wouldn't be deemed legal for record purposes. So you're allowed to be 2 seconds. When we say 2, we're talking 2 meters per second.
And we did look up the calculation, and it sort of times it by, what was it,
3.6. So you're looking at around sort of winds, if you've got a wind sort of around, say, 7 kilometres per hour behind you, anything above that there, it generally shows, but it is averaged out as well. So it's a good run, though. That's a very good run by, and we're talking only just over the threshold as well at 2.2. This is our 100 metres men's para. You can see Jasper Moss getting himself set in the starting blocks, making sure everything's all hunky-dory for him. It's the 4 people competing. Daniel Meyer, Jackson Woolley, Jasper Moss and Jack Lewington. They're just getting themselves set down that back straight. And we're keeping an eye on the shot put circle for the... Just do the reseeding of the shot put, and then we'll be into that one there. We have got Dame Valerie Adams with the advantage at 18.73. She actually got, by our hand, it's got to be done written calculation. She's got actually the 3 best throws already this evening. Her second throw of 18.73, the best, leading the competition. She also had an 18.54 and 18.45, so a good opening series of 3 puts for Dame Valerie Adams. Looking to add a 17th New Zealand title.
That is phenomenal.
It's
and
a
hoping
heck of a CV.
And aiming to book her place, assuming that it happens, the Olympics, at a 5th Olympics, which is just phenomenal. And same with Nick Willis, he'll be going for a 5th Olympics in the 1,500 metres. Which, when you consider how many years of your life that is consuming with absolute top-level elite sport, that is a massive achievement all in itself. So here we go, lining up in this men's 100-metre para final.
So as we see it from right to left on your screen, that is Daniel Meyer. in lane number 3. Lane number 4, Jackson Woolley. Lane number 5 is Jasper Moss out of Canterbury, and Jack Lewington out of Wellington is in lane number 6. They just stand up. Jackson has shown some very good form throughout the early part of the season as well. Probably the person you'd be keeping your eyeballs on, Hayden.
Yeah. So all these boys are still well into their high school years, so they've got many years ahead of them, and it's exciting to see how they go on this big stage. It's brilliant that there's a great crowd in to cheer them along. They'll enjoy this tailwind as we see, like you say, Jackson Woolley just gets a really good start out of the blocks, but also on his left.
That's Daniel Meyer really pushing him all the way. This is a great finish. Oh, Daniel goes down. Jackson's going to come through. Jasper Moss comes through in second spot. Lewington comes through in third, and he's picked himself up, Daniel Meyer, but he'll be disappointed because he was really giving Jackson a heck of a race there.
Yeah, absolutely. He was right on his heels was Daniel Meyer. But I can tell you, when you are putting in maximum output, often you can get those little glitches. I mean, we saw Bowden Barrett drop the ball on the try line, running full speed, and so when you are asking...
Are you referring to the Canadian game right at the end? I was in that particular stadium.
Yeah.
I've never... When we were there the night before, there was actually... It looked like there were rain clouds inside the stadium.
Yeah,
it looked like it had its own ecosystem. It was so hot. So hot.
The ball was
I think he was spent. They did so much running in that game, the New Zealand team. As we get now into the fourth rotation of the women's shot put, and it is at the moment Dame Valerie Adams with the advantage. And as we've seen, Sarah Mitten has got the ability just to deliver that one big throw. So here is Kaya Tupo South out of Auckland. He's one of the 3 Auckland club members who are in it. The other 2, Dame Valerie Adams and Madison Weech. So into her work goes Kaya.
Yeah, so for a 17-year-old, she's really just shows her class and maturity to be able to keep up with these women, and she's very well performed across all the throws, and they're getting out to a good solid, maybe a 16.
It's been, here we go, just a hair under at 15.06. 15.06 though, but that's still a good throwing.
I think that's a big PB. So just looking through my database, 14.04 was her previous PB coming into this. So she's just added a metre.
And that you've got to remember as well, that's an age grouper using the senior shot as well, not the lesser weighted that they would have if they were competing at the age group championships.
Absolutely.
Here comes Madison Weech, a future star, already a junior world champion, 2-time national champion as well. That's not bad by the time you hit 20. That one there, she fouls out, just stepping over the front of the stop board. She lost her balance.
Yeah, if anything, over the last couple of years, Madison's just struggled for that consistency. So it's one of those things, as you mature as an athlete, typically you do see that consistency and that series of throws really come together. But this woman here, she peaked very well at the end of the competition at the Sir Graham Douglas, and this is looking like it's over that 18-metre mark. It's always difficult to tell from the angle.
I think I'd say it'd be maybe just a hair under. I'm just trying to get the gauge. I'm thinking maybe around that 17 mark, possibly. There's 17 going up. There we go. Starting to get the handle on it. So we're looking at 17.46. 17.46 for Sarah Mitten. So that's just on 1.5 metres under what she threw to win the Sir Graham Douglas just over a fortnight ago. Here's Brittany Crew. Brittany is just giving a little bit of pressure there for Dame Valerie Adams.
Yeah, in round 1, so she came out with an 18.35 and really put a mark in the sand, so to speak, in this competition. So she sits in second place, and that looks like it's just under 18 metres, but she gives it a little... Is that a little fist pump?
I think she's been reasonably consistent with the series of puts that she has put out to this particular point. So I think she's quite happy with the way she's throwing. Next one, here she comes.
So
1773 for Brittany Crew, the 25-year-old Canadian. Dame Valerie. It's a very serious scowl on that face. And there in and around. The mark there from the officials is always doing a great job.
yeah, so that one won't add to it. And I could kind of tell by the crowd sort of gave that the golf clap.
Yeah, and they haven't even bothered measuring it, so I'd assume that Dame Valerie has just stepped over the front of the stop board and said, don't bother.
Yep. Okay, so to another 100 metres para final, we have Corin Hanning, Mitch Joint, Nikau Pepe, and Jaden Mulvold. So watch out for Mitch Joint. He's a classy character. And here he goes, getting up to speed now.
Oh. I tell you what, Nikau Pepe might have just nubbled him there on the line. What a great race between Mitch and Nikau.
And here comes Jaden Mulvold crossing the line, getting those wheels up to speed. Obviously takes longer to get that machine going. And once they are going, boy, they can move.
Yeah, this
But
is going to be
look
close
at
as we
this.
have a look. Give us your call, Hayden. I can't pick it. Oi!
I want to say Nico got it, but Mitch was coming up very, very fast.
I'm wondering whether
behind
Nico
him.
maybe had the better dip on the line, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Another good race. There's another gentleman who's had a very good season to this point as well, and Mitch Joint out of the
there-
Auckland club.
There we go, confirmation. 12.29 for Nico Pepe. And Mitch Joint is second at 12.29.
There we go. So, some good close running there. That win, though, again, just to give you that indication, up to 3.2 in terms of assisting them. A nice run by Corin Hanning as well. 14.5 seconds for Corin.
So Kaya Tupu South just through a PB of a metre. All of a metre. And that was her 5th round throw.
It's very impressive when you can tack on. And Valerie coming over as well, trying to keep warm, maybe having a few words with her young clubmate, young provincial teammate, I should say. And that's the great thing that you do like to see, and you see the interaction with Dame Valerie. We'll see it with Tom Walsh later on in the evening, even though I know he and Ryan Ballantyne, very, very competitive. You know, you see the camaraderie between these athletes. And it really is one of the nice things whenever you come to a track and field meeting. We're so glad you're with us. This is the super session, evening session of day one of the New Zealand Track and Field National Championships. Now, Punawai in Christchurch is the venue. My name's Nigel Olden, Hayden Sherman providing the expert analysis for Sarah. 15.62.
Yes, that's a good improvement for Tori Owers from what we've seen. She's certainly consistently the number 3 in New Zealand in recent times, but consistently number 2 is this woman. Can she improve? She's just been struggling a bit tonight. Things just aren't clicking for her. That's well below her best.
She's just...
Yeah, you can see she's just not feeling it,
Well-
to the point where she's kind of got a little giggle. Things just aren't quite clicking there. So 14.62.
It's not right hard up against the stop board there when she finished her throw, which is what you do tend to see. Here is Sarah Mitten, another one who's just slightly off her mark at the moment. Our friends in Canada know what she is capable of. Oh, that looks a little bit better, closer to 18. For that little green disc.
Yes, I was talking to Shaka Sola earlier in the day, so throws coach, Olympian in the shot put, and he explained to me that this wind, it's not a factor against the shot, but if you haven't trained in it and you sort of let it get to your mindset, it can just put you off. So that's where you see the professionalism of someone like Val Adams, who's been in conditions like this many times and knows how to just put it to one side.
So here's Brittany Crew, the other Canadian.
So 18.35 is her best so far. Good speed in that rotation. And that looks like it's over 18.
Yeah, that looks a good one. That does look a good one. 18.35 is what she had with her first throw, Brittany. She's
Let's have a look at this board.
There we go, 1846, so it is an improvement from Brittany, but still behind the 1873 delivered by this lady on your screen right now.
Looks like it might just be over the 18-metre mark.
She's just
taps her foot.
Yeah, tapped the stop board, and she's she's a wee joke there with
That's Alicia.
Alicia
Yeah.
Arlov down there doing some of the great. If you see some of the wonderful, we've got some wonderful photographers in track and field, but I tell you what, Alicia just does some wonderful shots. Capturing, she really captures the essence of so many athletes and knows how to capture the essence as well of the individual sport. She really is outstanding at what she does.
Yeah, Alicia Loveridge, she's a pole vaulter, which makes her the perfect photographer for the other pole vaulters. So she does her bit, jumps sort of, 3 meters something, and then she's free to photograph the other girls. So it's perfect.
Oh, she does.
But yeah, she's one of those athlete photographers. Also, Michael Dawson, he's a great young photographer, top 800-meter runner as well. So
Ben Langton-Bonnell doesn't mind sort of getting
Yes,
the shutters out as well. So here we are. This
Talented
is the
lot.
Yeah, wow. Got to have balance in life,
You
don't
do,
you?
you do.
Got to have those outside interests. This is the under 18 women's 100 meters.
Yeah, so this is the final. So in lane 2, we're going to have Zion Smith from Auckland. Lane 3, Sarah Hewlett of Waikato Bay of Plenty. Lane 4, Sophie Williams of Auckland. Lane 5, Gina Maples. Keep an eye on her from Manawatu, Wanganui. Lane 6, Muriel Venita of Auckland. Lane 7, Nadia Evans of Auckland. Lane 8, Abby Fisher of Otago. And lane 9, Jade Kruger of Canterbury.
The oldest of these athletes, 16, the youngest, 14. The future of what is a very strong sprint program at the moment in New Zealand. And they're away. That was a good start as well by Maples. Now trying to get about their work. This is a really good run coming in at the moment from Sophie Williams at the moment. On the outside there, Nadia Evans too on the line.
So close. Whoa.
Now we're going to have
Too close to call from our angle.
We're going to have to wait again for the times to come up. Well, that was a very good run. All right, Sophie Williams.
And you can just see...
Sorry, Nadia Evans, excuse me. And she is the one that has got it. Nadia Evans in a time of 11.92, excuse me. Then it was Sophie Williams, 11.95. And it's a 1-2-3 for the Auckland club. Marielle Venita coming in third spot.
And just fantastic. Nadia Evans, she's only 15 years of age, 11.92 or 3.5 metre win, so it won't be legal, but that is just a fantastic run as a 15-year-old. There's not many 15-year-old boys who can run that quick, so a very quick performance there on the back straight. We didn't see much of Gina Maples, the silver medalist from the New Zealand Secondary Schools Champs.
Coming in same time as Marielle for third spot, did Gina in a 12.09. That really was a good run. Nice dip on the line as well.
Look how just competitive these sprint ranks are in the juniors. It's just so exciting to see sprinting really light up in New Zealand at the moment. All right, here we go.
Sarah Mitten, this is your last opportunity. If she is to claim a second scalp of Dame Valerie, she's got to pull something big out.
She's had a great trip to New Zealand, enjoying the New Zealand summer. That looked like it was over 18, but only by a smidgen, if at all.
1873 is the target.
Won't change the picture.
Just leaves Brittany Green. You just see the shrug there, and I think it's just like, okay, I've just had one of those nights. It's just, it just hasn't been. It was for me a couple of weeks ago up in Waitaki. It just hasn't been tonight. She's a wee joke with Tori Hours. 1781 for Sarah Mitten.
Slight improvement.
Here is Brittany Crew. And she has been. She really has been.
I'll just be here. Hang on.
She really has been the one so far, but she's going to have to find at least 40 centimetres. Here comes Brittany. Moving. And, ooh, it looks okay. That could be an interesting one.
It's definitely
White
up there.
flag.
Those yellow markers are the 18-meter circle, so it looked like she's beyond that. She's coming in with the best of 18.46. She's had a good, strong series.
18.81.
Oh.
Dame Valerie's got one shot. Here we go. She's been in this situation before. Rio 4 years ago, Olympic Games.
This needs to be a season's best right here. Val Adams, what can she do? Oh, it's a good response, but I don't think it's enough.
Wow. No,
I don't think it's enough.
Let's have a look. We wait. 1888 actually is what's gone up. It's 1888.
Wow.
That was for Brittany Crew.
That
1860. 18 meters, 60 centimeters. So it has been Dame Valerie Adams, and Brittany Crew has got her.
pipped at the post. Just a phenomenal finish. Just finishes off her New Zealand summer campaign in a wonderful style. She'll remember this moment. It's sort of one of the moments that you tell your kids or your grandkids. One of the greatest shot putters ever in women's history. I beat her on home turf.
Well, and I tell you right now, our Canadian viewers, there you go. Sarah Mittens claimed the scalp. Now Brittany Crew has as well. In New Zealand as well. I don't think they'll be struggling for rides to the airport. I'm pretty sure Dame Valerie Adams will be more than happy to put them in the back seat of the wagon and take them out and wish them a fond farewell. But that's been wonderful. That was another good shot put contest that we have seen.
Absolutely.
From these ladies. They have been delivering good competition. We've seen in the men, unsurprisingly, Tom be dominant to a certain degree. But I tell you what, the women's shot puts that we have seen in the events around New Zealand over the course of the last month and a bit, they have been so impressive, hey?
Absolutely. Just so great to have this great international competition and the domestic competition with the likes of Madison not far behind Val. But man, what just great prep for Val. You know, she needs this good motivation to keep cranking it in the gym, to keep her mindset going and getting ready for the Tokyo Games, which aren't too far away.
Yep, not too far away. Excuse me, the last week of July. As we are now getting ready for the under-18 men's. A lot of Cantabrians in this one. Here as we get themselves all set. That's Will Chun, you see there with the long hair, 269. So five Cantabrians on the inside lanes. Lane 2 is going to be Asher Pinnacle Brand. Jed Syme is in lane 3. Caleb Bone is in lane number 4. You see him there with the blonde hair. Will Chun with a slightly longer hair is in lane number 5. Jack Rogers, you see him on your screen there. And then the first of the North Island competitors, just the three of them. Oliver Dringnan of Wellington. Jamie Chambers-Stewart is in lane number 8 out of Auckland. And Max Brebner, 16-year-old from Waikato Bay of Plenty, will be in the outside lane in lane number 9. And going through, it's Ollie just going down, wishing everybody all the best. Nice sportsmanship being shown there. And you see Jed Syme as they roll through the distinctive colours, the red and black. And the North Island contingent on the outside, seeing if they can spoil the hometown party. What a sight that is for Canterbury Athletics. As we say, it's Pinnacle Brandon 2, Syme 3, Bone 4, Chun 5, Rogers 6, Krishnan in 7, Chambers-Stewart is in 8, and Brebner in lane number 9. Men's under 18, 100 metres final. As the wind, although you see it blustering in the background, just does drop just a hair at the venue. Oh, no, yeah, and Ollie knew straight away as well.
Yeah, so Oliver Krishnan there out of Wellington, he will know that his night is over in terms of the 100 metres. It was a clear false start, so the official will come and give him the notice. And that you don't want your night to finish that way. Well, he might be running under...
Running under protest,
yeah,
maybe.
running under protest. That's surprising that let that obvious false start go, but potentially there was a little flinch there or a noise that might have proved some sort of justification, but he'll feel a lucky man to be back in those blocks.
So, just for... Normally, he would be excluded, but you can protest and race, and they've clearly given him that opportunity. And away, shows in the start. That is a good start coming through.
Really good, solid start.
Here comes Will
through.
Chun, though. Will's been in good form. The man on the outside of him is Jack Rogers too. What about the outside? I think Oliver's actually got there.
I think Oliver Krishnan might have got there. And so this is going to be interesting as far as looking at that protest again. But that was... It changed. That lead changed probably 3 or 4 times during the race. You can see Oliver Krishnan just closing very strongly there. It's 11.16 for Oliver. Will Chun, 11.21.
What'll be interesting, and what was interesting too, is that Oliver was clearly spooked because he was very slow out of the blocks. He was the last one out of the block, so he has absolutely flown. Now, though, it will come down to, we'll find whether it is a protest situation, whether he has run under protest. Wind speed is at 2.2, so again, just outside the limit, but still a very good run by Oliver. And everyone, I mean, from first through to second so far, covered by 0.4 of a second. And so a good run there in the men's under 18 100 metres. Oliver Krishnan, first at the moment, subject to confirmation.
And look, all of those athletes are aged between 14 and 16, so a lot of development still to happen with those boys, and they'll be eyeing up North Island champs and South Island champs in a few weeks' time. So still more track racing to come for them this summer. Can I still call it a summer? It's a bit of autumnal down here, isn't it?
Oh, it's just a bit breezy, but it's, I mean, it's still very nice. It's just a bit of a breeze at the moment. It wasn't unpleasant stepping off the plane. You can see just in the background of that shot there, you can see the effect that the wind is having on the sprinkler. Just gives you some indication as we look at the high jump. And that there will be another one of the feature events here this evening. And it'll feature a local fellow who's been going pretty well with the high jump. And then, of course, is Hamish Kerr. Going very well. It's men's shot put a little later on in the evening too. You just see them start prepping. And you were saying, I think Jaden Williamson was in action earlier this morning. Again, another one of the young, talented players, athletes, I should say, coming through in terms of the high jump ranks as well.
Yeah, no, Jaden's just such a natural high jumper. He's got the build for it. He's built like a beanstalk and got springs like anything. So he, I believe he was going for 206 and just failed at 206 from memory. But he jumped really well in trying conditions earlier today.
Yeah, it is a... You just see a few in the background. Another one of our features, because it features arguably the form athlete, you could just about argue, in New Zealand track and field at the moment, and that is one Julia Radcliffe.
Absolutely.
Who has been breaking records for fun.
Yeah, she's been just so consistent all summer long, and what an athlete. When you talk to her, she's just your everyday Kiwi lass. You'd never expect that she's a world-class hammer thrower. Just quietly goes about her business and throws national records almost every time she turns up. Well,
when she went at the Pirate Classic, I mean, it was fascinating. She comes out, she breaks the New Zealand record by 30 centimetres, throwing 71.69. Then in her final throw of the night, it is 30. She adds on another, I think it's about 60-odd centimetres, and it's 72.35, and she's only 15 off an automatic qualifier for the Tokyo Olympic Games. She's going to go there. Valerie Adams is standing by for an interview very shortly with our MC, Jake O'Flaherty. So we'll be going to that very shortly.
Now you must be...
rival standing next to you, so you can't speak too freely here, but surely you must be pretty happy with that.
I'm really happy, yeah. It's the season's best for me, and our outdoor season hasn't even started yet because our winter is just ending and we're going into our summer season, so definitely happy. It's one of my best throws ever, and we're not rivals, we're friends.
And conditions, were they pretty up there?
It's always difficult when you're getting kind of wind and but yeah, it's not ideal conditions, but I don't think it's that.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
and now Dave. Today?
We're just going to have to leave that there, just having a few issues with the microphone that Jake is working. But as you can hear from Brittany, what we were able to hear, very chuffed and rightfully so with the season's best and taking out Dame Valerie Adams. And no wonder she is pretty chuffed with that particular performance. As you can see the start line, they're using the back straight here. They've spun them around, the more favourable breeze heading down the back straight at Napunui as they get ready for the under 20 100 metres. Also to come as well, we've got the women's hammer throw featuring Julia Radcliffe, Lauren Bruce as well. And Lauren's someone who is just, whilst obviously we've focused a lot on Julia Radcliffe, Lauren Bruce, Hayden Shearman, is actually having herself a really nice season. She's been tacking on numbers to PBs as well. And just reminding Julia that I'm actually there and just pushing Julia as well on the odd occasion, which has been very beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think it's something that we see across the fields really. When one Kiwi really performs well on the international stage, starts getting those international qualifiers and national records, it really pulls up the field, and you'll see second and third will also take those big leaps forward. And whether it's a mental thing or it's a training thing or just the greatness rubs off, who knows? But it is one of those things that the tip of the iceberg seems to raise the rest of the iceberg as well.
So here we are looking at the under 20 women's 100 metres final. That's Sarah Farmer, I should say, in lane number 2. Jorian Fori is in lane 3. Aria Carroll out of Manawatu Wanganui in 4. Heniwai Knowles, Waikato Bay Plenty in 5. Lane 6 is Celia Ward, representing Tasman. Lane 7, Sophie Gill out of Canterbury. Zoe Taylor, Auckland, is in lane number 8. And Taylor Brunga of Manawatu Wanganui is in the outside lane. That is lane number 9.
Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled on lane 5. Heniwai Knowles, she's your reigning New Zealand secondary schools champion. A real talent, 17 years of age out of Waikato Bay Plenty, but don't discount the rest of these. So there she goes, taking the lead at the moment. Yep. Heniwai Knowles on the outside
lane, Taylor Brunga. This is a wonderful run, and she is going to dead set brain them. That is a superb run from the 17-year-old.
I don't know how I missed her because she just opened up so much speed in the middle stages of that 100 metres. And we're really seeing tonight, once you get that wind behind you and you get up to speed and sort of put your spinnaker up and really go for it, you can really get some good top-end speed.
Well, that's a time of 12.07 for Taylor Brunga in the outside lane. I think it will be Zoe Taylor's been credited as second spot in a 12.36 second run. Then Heniwai Knowles in 12.40. Looks like there's a little bit of concern being shown there for Aria Carroll, who is down on the ground at the moment. And there you see once again the wonderful camaraderie that comes with track and field as they are down and just making sure that Aria is okay. And they lift her up and just favouring that left leg by the looks of it. It's
cool conditions for sprinting, and so with these events, you basically have to check into the check-in tent around about 20 minutes, 30 minutes before your event. So that's after you've done your warm-up, your drills, and then there's a bit of waiting around. So there's potential on nights like tonight to pull up with those hamstrings if you don't keep warm. So it is a real challenge to manage that.
Well,
so hopefully she's okay.
And we're getting a real good example of that right now on your screen. Those gentlemen who are literally rugged up the men's high jump And the man to keep an eye on, he's just grabbing himself a wee chair. It's down, Hamish Kerr, who equalled the New Zealand record last year at the Oceania Championships.
Yeah, and those men there, so they may not come in for 15 minutes, 20 minutes or so until it reaches their height that they want to open it. So you've got to keep warm, and bringing the blanket, bringing the rug from home is a must-have piece of equipment.
Well, you can see in the background there, that is the competitors in the women's hammer throw, and lady fourth from the left, rugged up, looking like she's actually heading to the Antarctic on the latest flight out of Wigram. That is your New Zealand record holder, Oceania record holder as well. That's Julia Radcliffe underneath the hood.
And this is summer athletics in New Zealand, so those still watching from Canada, yes, we do have summer.
The Canadians are looking at that and going, really, Carl, you call that's nothing. That's nothing.
Yeah.
There she is, Julia Radcliffe, with the wave there, arms folded now with the hoodie on. Keeping warm, obviously, as Hayden has just alluded to with regards to the sprinters also as well, very much required as well for the field athletes. So we've got some really good athletes coming in. As I say, Lauren Bruce out of Canterbury will be looking to push Julia Radcliffe. Julia, though, has been really throwing nice, consistent sets. She's been getting regularly over the 70-metre mark. And so she is one of the stars, has been one of the stars, and I'm sure there'll be a few people here at the New Zealand Track and Field Championships. Great to have the support of Jenny and Holmes, Christchurch as well, Aon, all wonderful supporters of Athletics New Zealand. And the Jenny and Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships at this wonderful venue, part of this amazing sports hub that they've got in Christchurch now. No, Punawai Sports Hub is absolutely brilliant. You know, the last couple of weekends we've seen the FIH Pro League hockey that is being played. Wonderful tennis courts out there as well, and wonderful news to hear as well too that the stadium, they're starting to get cracking on that one as well down here in Christchurch as well.
Yeah, so this athletics ground replacing the old QE2 Park that was made famous in the 70s with that Commonwealth Games. The arrival of John Walker was
one of the arguably the greatest 1500 metres race in the history of 1500 metres races. Was it the first 5 all under the World Championship, world record?
It was just phenomenal. If you've got some time this weekend, jump on the YouTube video of that, because it's absolutely incredible. From the gun, it's just all on. It reminded me of the David Rudisha 800-metre world record in the London Olympics. Just fantastic when you see someone just back themselves right from the gun.
And that record still stands. It's still the Commonwealth Games record set by the great Philbert Bai. And I think he caught... There's also, in addition to watching it, by the way, on YouTube, and it is a wonderful... There's a long-form version. It's the that was done by the New Zealand Herald about 2 years ago, and they speak to pretty much the majority of the key elements to it. And it's like the oral history. That's the word I'm looking for. And that is a superb read. They talked to Bai and Walker. Dixon was in that one as well. British athlete whose name eludes me, and I do apologise to that gentleman. Should he be watching in Great Britain, he might be up nice and early enjoying it. Sir, to whoever you are, I apologise. But it was just one of those races, as I say, first 5 all underneath the previous world record. And it was just extraordinary, because I think Philbert Bai really sort of caught them by example. And you're right, it's that particular event, and dare I say, Dick Taylor as well. Those are the real iconic images from the 1974 Com Games. So here we are looking at the high jump. And now we cut our way back to the 100 metres under 20s, and the man wearing bib number 212, second generation of athlete there. You see him in third from the right, Tommy Tapuni.
Yeah, he looked good in heats earlier today. Also wearing number 573. He's the New Zealand under 17 record holder. Out of Taranaki, my home, Jacob Stockwell. So really, I'm looking for those two singlets to be up at the front. So Jacob Stockwell, he's a fast starter. I actually lined up in 100 metres next to him. He did not see much of me because I finished I was about the 50-meter mark when he finished.
All right.
It was phenomenal.
But you're built for distance.
yeah.
You're built for distance. Let's see him try and do maybe a couple of 5 or 10Ks and stay with your wheel.
Yeah.
I can't see it happen.
I was also just wearing my trainers, so give me in a pair of spikes, and I might have had.
So here we go. From the right as you see it, Tyron Hilton is in lane number 2. Mohammad Ibrahim is in lane number 3. Tommy Tapuni lane 4. Jordan Stewart lane 5. Dominic Over in lane 6. Jacob Stockwell in lane number 7. Ethan Wallace is in lane 8. John Gerber out of Otago is in lane number 9 on the extreme outside. This is the 100 metres under 20s final of the Jenny and Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championship.
Oh, this is
Hawaii and Christchurch.
a really fantastic field, and we see that great start there by Stockwell, but Tommy Tapuni coming into his work now. Here he comes, lining up the finish line, and looks like he might have got it at the dip.
It was a good second half of the race, though, by Stockwell, who may have snuck himself into second spot. But that was a very good, strong run by Tommy Tapuni. As we get a look here on the line, definitely Tapuni. I think Stockwell might have just got the chest out. It'll be tight between Jacob, possibly Over and
now
on the
that's that
inside of it.
moment where the coaches were saying, dip, dip, boy, dip, because Tommy Tapuni, he didn't have much of a dip, but he just claimed it. It is 11.04. Jacob Stockwell, 11.06, so 0.02 of a second.
And it's just great to see, and we'll be speaking about this a little bit later on in the evening when we see the men's and women's 100-metre finals, about the wonderful development in the sprints in New Zealand. Here she is, wearing the colours of Waikato. Julia Radcliffe will love that. Here's her first throw.
Now, the thing that's defined her season, apart from national records, area records and all that, is consistency. She's just been consistently throwing that 70-metre mark all season long.
So we will do our best to keep an eye on the distance for Julia Radcliffe. There you see her. Of course, now she is working. Just now, by the way, just before we get the distance there for Julia, it looks like she started off 66.60 as they just change it manually. 66.64 for Julia Radcliffe. Just going back to that men's 100 metres, you spoke about the tightness at the top. The entire field covered by just 0.21 of a second. Tommy Tapuni winning it in 11.04. Mohammad Ibrahim, who finished 8th, 11.25. And legal wind as well, just 0.06. Which is good to see.
So all of those guys capable of doing well faster, which shows the wind was really playing havoc, oscillating back and forth. But like you say, it was very, very close, just 0.05 of a second separating the top 4, which when we come to talking about dipping at the line, it really comes into it.
Almost Ballantyne's having herself a whale of a time there. It's the Otago athlete. So we've got plenty going on. We will get as much of this action for you as possible. As I say, we'll keep an eye on that woman's hammer and see what Julia Radcliffe has in store for us. Also as well too, Lauren Bruce, who has been, as I say, just steadily ticking away throughout the start of the 2020 season. Of course, the other thing that we do need to mention as well when it comes to the national championships is the importance of the qualifying points for the Olympic Games, an opportunity to earn some more rankings points as we work our way through the hammer throw field. So it's changed a little bit, and I know there'll be some people maybe tuning in for the first time for the national championships. Great to have you on board here on Sky Sport and also Sky Sport Next, the YouTube channel. My name's Nigel Alden, Hayden Sherman, providing expert analysis for you. They have made a change for those not familiar. It used to be you had an A and a B standard, and if you could do the A standard, you got selected by your national body. If you got your B standard, well, if you did it a couple of times, you're pretty sure to go. And even if you got close, there was a chance maybe you might do, depending on how you might go in the world. Well, that's all gone now. There is just a flat mark round the world. So we talk about Julia Radcliffe throwing a New Zealand record of 72.35. If she can throw another 15 centimetres further, that would be an automatic qualifier for Tokyo. Now, she's ranked, I think, around 13 or 14 at the moment in the world, so she is pretty much probably going to be going to the Olympic Games anyway. But the ranking points that she earns, and it's averaged out, this is very hard to explain, so if it gets convoluted, people, please don't turn the television off, okay? Just stick with us here, because it's not an easy system that has been introduced, but it's averaged across the 5 events and the opportunity to earn those ranking points, but the ranking points vary based on certain meetings, like the Pirate Classic, which was in Hamilton last month. That was a D category, so you earned a set number of points. The Sir Graham Douglas meeting, though, lovely leap by that Hamish Kerr going over. The Sir Graham Douglas, that was a C category, so finished in the top 8 and you earned slightly higher ranking points. This is a national championship. It's a B permit, so that earns even more ranking points, which is why it is so important for those who haven't thrown automatic qualifiers, just to, again, just, you know, pad your numbers up a little bit more. As here we see the joint New Zealand record holder, was that? Just having a
Yeah,
look.
was
Was
that
it
Marcus
Marcus? I'm
Walton?
not too sure.
Let me, I'm just going to do a little run and try and get some updated start lists, because I've noticed that our bib numbers are not matching our... There's,
So here we
there's
go.
Hamish Kerr in picture there.
So righty-ho. So that's for the confusion. We do apologise
Wearing
for
a
that
black
there.
jacket.
Down in front of us there. So we'll just try and get those. My apologies to Hamish, also to Marcus as well. A little bit perplexed there. The Canterbury colours threw me off. So you can see in the background the hammock continuing. That's Lexi Maples doubling up, having competed in the shot put. Now going in and doing some hammer as well.
Yeah, and the long jump earlier today, so she's been a busy woman this weekend already. Certainly done more exercise than I have.
So we have got some very good multidiscipline heptathletes, decathletes coming through as well. Of course, that is a separate New Zealand championship that is held. It's not held as part of the New Zealand Championships. As here we see Nicole Bradley getting ready for her first throw. This is
Quinn Hartley from Southland, so he's just 15 years old, so just a youngster. Good safe clearance there. I'm not sure exactly what height. We haven't had a view of the heights, but just not quite getting that arch over, making sure that backside stays clear of the bar, but he had the height anyway.
Of course, today, March the 6th, it's the birthday of Dick Frosbury.
Oh, nice. There we go.
Some useful information I garnered at work this morning.
Very appropriate.
There we go. It's at 2:02.
2:02, so
2:02.
we're already above the 2 metre mark. If
So-
you're at home and you've got a tape measure...
You're saying Quinn is 15 and he's clearing 2 metres already? Goodness gracious me.
So if you're at home and you've got a tape measure handy, just go and put a little mark at the 2 metre mark and just consider how high these boys are going, because they're only going up from here. Hamish Kerr still got his jacket and track pants on. He's not going to come in till later.
I'll tell you, Wharehenga with her first throw, with the Wellington, as you can see, by the colours of the single. So the national record for New Zealand, also the residence record as well, as that record set by Julia Radcliffe at the Pirate Classic last month, 72 metres 35 centimetres, on a night where she tacked on just under a metre to her own New Zealand residence in Oceania record. I don't think there was a record she didn't break that night. Able to do it in front of friends and family as well. You see in the background, that is Marcus. Is that Marcus Walton?
Yeah, Marcus
Yes,
Walton
it is.
there. One of the Canterbury boys. And so that's his second miss at 2:02.
Someone just threw him his jersey. I'm glad he caught it, because if he didn't, that thing could have ended up in Dunedin. Someone staggering through the octagon at 4 a.m. tomorrow morning could have been picking that jersey up. It is a healthy breeze. It's sort of coming and going a little bit. As they...
Yeah, Tegan Ashley here in the hammer circle. Spinning well, releasing.
It's one of those events that a lot of people sort of have a look at and think, look, it doesn't look that hard, but until you actually step inside the cage and you grab the hammer and you start spinning it around and you start to understand sort of how it can sort of just grab and pull you one way or the other if you don't have your balance and you don't have the strength, it really is a wonderful combination in terms of the skill set required for the event.
Yeah, it was interesting talking to Julia about how she trains in the gym, and it's quite different from the likes of a shot putter where you do lots of your classic Olympic lifts or, you know, deadlifts and squats, and it's more focused on the lower body. So there are the squats, you know, building that quad strength, but there's also lots of rotational things. So you're using cables, using med balls, throwing them against the walls, and it's, yeah, quite an interesting dynamic where you've got this, you watch the feet, and what they have to do is they go across the circle. It's a real dance across that circle, maintaining that momentum and keeping that strength through the lower part of your body.
It's interesting watching Julia as she works up. As there we
Ooh,
see
that's the
Marcus
third
again.
miss. So I think that means that he doesn't have a mark on the board, or we haven't been able to keep total tabs on what's been going on, but that's 3 misses from what I believe at 2:02. So we're a bit disappointed with that.
Back to Julia, it's interesting when you watch her warm up, you will see her a lot and she just sort of dances, and there's a lot, she uses a lot of hip movement. There was an interesting meme that went floating around on social media. It was of a quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys by the name of Dak Prescott. He was doing this warm-up, and it was him trying to move his hips. And people put it to salsa music and all that sort of stuff. Well, when you watch Julia Radcliffe warming up, she does it just the same. And the speed that she is doing it with is quite extraordinary. So, as I said, further to what Hayden is talking about, just the range that we are seeing. And that was Elizabeth Hewitt of Wellington, by the way, with her second throw. And we'll be coming back to Lauren Bruce. This is the young lady who has been just making sure that Julia Radcliffe sort of doesn't have things all her own way, just steadily improving. And clear number 2 to Julia in the New Zealand ranks at the moment. But yeah, you see all these different things, and you know, there's elements of dance and ballet almost at times with the way they are spinning around and maintaining. And we'll be talking about this again when we watch a big unit in Tom Walsh.
Yeah.
The way he just pirouettes beautifully across the shot put circle a little bit later
kg
on.
moving like that, that's phenomenal. Oh, yes, here we go. He got it. So I was wrong. I am gratefully corrected. So Marcus Walton now goes clear at 2:02. He's got a 2:09 best this year. And this woman here, Lauren Bruce, she's been throwing PBs, so she's got a best this year of 68.14. So she's inching up towards that 70-meter mark, which wouldn't it be fantastic to have 2 70-meter throwers in the hammer?
Wouldn't it be nice maybe if, you know, those numbers sort of stack up? Maybe could she sneak herself a spot at the Olympic Games? How nice would it be to have a couple of hammer throwers? That would be good too. There's Lauren Bruce. Out of the same...
The lefty.
Didn't look happy with that one. Really didn't look happy with that one as well. Out of the same club as Tom Walsh. That one there, well below what we know she to be capable of. Julia Radcliffe will be next. There she is. Of course, Commonwealth Games gold medalist at the Gold Coast. She still has the braces on the shoulder, but nowhere near as great. And of course, on that particular night, what Julia did was just in terms of consistency, because she actually went into that particular event ranked 4th, but the ladies ranked 1, 2, and 3. None of them could get the hammer out of the cage. And so just cleared the way for Julia to claim gold. Alex Hulley out of Australia, silver medalist on that particular night. Here she is, the Princeton Tiger, working at the moment from home in Hamilton, but works for the Reserve Bank. In addition to being a very good athlete, a very smart young lady as well. Went through the NCAA program in the United States of America. Came out with a degree, and the Reserve Bank have been very good as well with her in the Olympic year. And there you see that speed.
Yeah, it looked like a good release there. As we just lose it in the shadows, the fading light.
I think we got to keep coming. If we're looking for that one. It was well Where is she there? No, they're saying around 60 odd.
Did it just clip the
Maybe
net
it
on the
did.
way through?
But what it showed is the
So back to
high jump is
Marcus.
now back at 206. But what it showed, that gave us a really good illustration there. New Zealand's best exponent of the hammer. Yeah, the speed in which that she is going across the circle at, and then the release, and you see it all just sort of flowing through. It really is. There are so many wonderful elements in this in track and field, and you get to watch all these things that just marry up.
So Mace Valentine now, she's got a best this year, 47 metres. Oh, that
Gee,
looked
I
like
tell you what, she might not have a best of 47 metres after that one. That looked pretty good.
that did look good.
That could give,
Tricky, the angles that
yeah,
we've
it
got.
could. It might be one just to keep an eye on. There you see her, she picks it up, gets the hammer going. You see the foot movement there. Just gives you an example. Yes. Well, 48. If it was that 47, that's a new personal best for Mace Valentine, if that is the case. 48 metres that she is throwing. So still plenty of great sport to come here this evening from Napunawai. 100 metres men's final. The 100 metres women's as well. 5,000 metres. As I look over to the far side, you can just see them in the background of that shot. You can see them wandering down the back. There is a group of very, very large men making their way around towards the northern part of Napunawai. I can tell you right now, if those 12 men walked into your buffet, you would just go out of business immediately. You would just pack it in and just say, look, just do your worst. We'll be back in the morning. Those are the competitors in the men's shot put. They just wandering around. Big belly bodies. Very little neck. But they are going to put on a show tonight as well, and that'll be a great competition. Tom Walsh, Jacko Gill, Ryan Ballantyne.
So Sente Noom Duckworth there. So she's a high schooler. And the bar going up to 210.
The big thing is and here comes our first look.
Oh, look at that.
Nice and easy. There's your joint New Zealand record holder in Hamish Kerr, and he's made that look very easy for a starter.
That's a national title right there. So everyone else is out of the competition, I believe. So he's opened up at 210. Just locks it in. Doesn't matter about the wind. He had a couple of 20 centimetres to spare under that one. Just phenomenal. So here they come, the big boys.
Hey, Tom Walsh has already got a grin on his face. Tell you what, that young lady in the middle, very well protected from the breeze. As we move our way back to the hammer throw circle. And as I say, at the moment is still, as we understand, Julia Radcliffe with the lead at the moment. Her first throw of 66.64. There you go. Here they are. That's the start list and the men's shot put. Ryan Ballantyne, Nick Palmer out of Hawke's Bay, Tom Walsh. Janja Shader out of Germany, again giving us the international feel. If we do have any of our German fans watching via Sky Sport Next, so glad that you're with us. Wherever you are around the world, just thank you so much. We had the delightful pleasure, didn't we, in Hamilton for the Pirate Classic of having the company of one Lord Sebastian Coe for a brief moment.
Did we?
In time. Yes. Got slid in front of us. Lord Coe was watching actually at the time. Mr. Roger was actually doing the commentary. You had slid out for a cheeky pie and a Coke. And yeah, Lord Coe was apparently watching us as well up early in the morning. So
wow, there you go.
Wherever you are watching around the world via the wonderful portal that is Sky Sport Next, the YouTube channel, thank you so much for your coverage. My name is Nigel Yolden, providing the commentary, the expert analysis is a man that you can listen to via iTunes. He hosts a wonderful podcast, the Kiwi Running Show. His name is Hayden Sherman. He's a very good running coach himself. You are watching the Jenny and Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships. This is the evening session, the super session. We're calling it here to conclude day 1 of 3. The reason why it's the super session, we've got the likes of, we've already seen Dame Valerie Adams getting pipped by Brittany Crew in the women's shot put. These gentlemen here, headlined by Tom Walsh, He's going for what would be his, I believe it's his 11th national title if he is able to win it. That's not bad for 27 years of age.
That's amazing that he's clocked up so many already. Just a fantastic athlete. I'm also excited to see Jack O'Gill. I haven't seen him all summer long. Very excited to see how he opens up. So Nicole Bradley, she's number 3 in New Zealand this year. She's been throwing 3 PBs all summer long. So 67.11 is her best. And that looks like it might be well out beyond the 60-metre mark. So she's been a quality performer. So we've really got 3 ladies who are well over 65 metres. And Nicole looked pretty happy about that.
I can tell you as well, you mentioned just before you ducked away there, Mace Ballantyne on her personal best. You're going to have to update your records because she put one out over 48.
Wow,
so
nice,
that'll be beyond. I see on your spreadsheet there, 47.93. So she's throwing a new PB here at the national champs.
Hopefully they spin it around this way. One more.
Coming around slowly. There it is.
60-20.
The officials doing a great job. Of course, anyone who's been to a track and field meeting in New Zealand, anywhere in the world, they know the importance of the wonderful volunteers and the officials. And as we see the athletes getting ready for the women's 5,000 metres down the 20s.
Yeah, it's just a small field with the women's 5,000, but it'll still be a really great race lining up with some quality athletes.
We've got Natalia Carter, Phoebe McKnight, Maya Irving and Charlie Miller. Auckland, Wellington, Taranaki and Waikato Bay of Plenty in that particular event. As the lights just start to take hold. It's been it has been a blustery day for day one. We've seen age group records. There's confirmation of your field there for the main freight under 20s women's 5,000 metres. Carter, McKnight, Irving and Miller.
Oh, there's Hamish Kerr. He went clear at 210, looked easy as you like. I believe the bar would have gone up to 220 on that. We'll try and get an update, but just missing on that one.
So we're just saying we've had some good performances throughout the day. We've seen an age group record in the triple jump by Kayla McDonald. We've seen a very good performance by Quentin Rue.
So 216 is where the bar has been set.
2 metres 16 for Hamish Kerr, who I think his last outing might have been Sydney, and memory serves around a 220. I think he might have cleared. Terry Lomax was telling us that.
He's been a little bit quiet this summer. So certainly, the more elite you get, often the less you enter races or events in the New Zealand summer. You save yourself for that Northern Hemisphere summer. So that's one of the sad things about living in this end of the world. But it is great that we have the likes of Val Adams and Tom Walsh and Zoe Hobbs who make a special effort to turn up to the national champs every year. And speaking of which, it's going to be great on Sunday. We'll see Nick Willis contest the 1,500 metre final. So.
Well, Nick has just been slowly chipping away at the ranking points. I think he'd love to just run that automatic qualifier, which for the 1,500 metres men's, I think it's 3:38 is what he needs to run, or it's 3:35.
Yeah, I want to say 3:35.
I think 3:35 it might actually be.
Yeah.
But he's been chipping away at the ranking points. The other thing I think to mention, just throw into the mix as well, we talk about Hamish Kerr. The fact that he has been to the World Championships as well is another sort of wee tick in the box when we start talking about possible inclusion in the Olympic Games. Of course, everything is subject to ratification and selection and the New Zealand selectors and well, I mean, it's something that it is something that people need to be aware of, and we know that it could have an impact. But if you are an athlete, what can you do? All you can do is just you've got your program in place. All you can do is you've got to try the best you can to put that out of your mind and just go about your job. You've just got to make sure, you just got to think it's going to take place.
Yep,
that's the only mindset that the athletes have got to have. You cannot think anything else, surely.
Yeah, yep. You've got to just focus on your performances, focus on your training, and If it gets cancelled, it gets cancelled.
It's a wonderful sporting cliche, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure you've heard it a million times. I'm going to make it 1,000,001. You can only control what you can control.
Yeah.
So look, you can only take care of yourself, do your training, put the performances out there, and then what happens.
So on screen is Lauren Bruce, and here we go back to Hamish Kerr. Oh, look at that.
Gee, that's
when he clears it, it looks so easy and effortless.
Little fist pump as well. Well
Wow.
chuffed. Here comes Lauren Bruce. There's the
So
Canterbury athletes.
Hamish goes clear at 2:16, and really is up to him now what he sets the bar at. He's the only man left in the competition. He's got his hands on another national title, and he truly is an international class.
So as a
athlete.
coach, and you'll be working with Terry Lomax. So I mean, how do you go about this now? I mean, do you go, okay, let's just go work through the progression, or do you go, right, let's actually have a bang at 225 or something like that? How would you know, given the experience, and I know you're a running coach, but how would you think that Terry would be sort of working through that with regards to Hamish?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to fit into Lauren Bruce just throwing it into the net there. It's really got to fit into your training schedule and where things are at. If he's dealing with some sort of a niggle, he's not going to push it. And if he's feeling like, look, it's too cold and too windy, I'll just put another 4 centimetres on the bar and see what happens. So really, you've got to play it smart. For a guy like Hamish Kerr, the focus isn't the 6th of March here in Christchurch. The focus is the end of July, or really June, to get that qualifier and rack up those points. So
he is.
you do have to be smart about it, but it looks like he's still keeping warm, so he still wants to jump.
The man with the sunglasses on the top of his cap that you just saw is Terry Lomax, also a very good decathlete back in the day. Now the national combined events coach. Here is Julia Radcliffe, national record holder in the women's hammer Commonwealth Games, gold medalist from the Gold Coast 2018.
Look at that speed that she got, and look, it just flew way beyond sight. Now this
That one's around that 70-metre mark. That's her best of the night quite comfortably, I would suspect.
Yeah. About a quarter smile we got from her on that one. So, yeah, I'm calling that this one's got a 7 in front of it.
Well, just not sure it's that angle, isn't it? This is the hard part, ladies and gentlemen.
And just look at this beautiful technique, the speed that she's got in that last couple of spins. Well, I stand to be corrected.
Well, there was a 7 in there, but it was
Yeah.
after a 6, 67.78. So she does extend on what her first throw was, which was 66.64. And like we've seen with the shot put as well, that will then be reseeded. So once again, you will see Julia as the last thrower based on the performances thus far. You can see the competitors in the...
Yeah, so this is the combined 5,000 metre final. So it's combined the under-20s and the senior events. So in the under-20s, we've got Natalia Carter, Phoebe McKnight, Maya Irving, and Charlie Miller. And then trying to keep warm there.
They just want to get going. They don't want to be held for too long. The lady to keep an eye out for is Rebecca Green, the Otago athlete
Absolutely.
there, 4.77, who was part of a very good race to complete the program at the Sir Graham Douglas International a fortnight ago in an event which had the second fastest 5,000 metres in the
world
at the time,
Yeah.
run by an outstanding young Japanese athlete.
Yeah, Nia, she's got the recently achieved the Japanese half marathon record, and that's no mean feat. It's just marathon running is a religion in Japan. It really is.
Oh, yes.
The rugby of Japan, and just fantastic to see talent like that on our shores. Really, really cool. So taking out the lead at the moment it looks like Rebecca Green has gone straight to the front.
Let's go back and watch Hamish.
Yeah, just clipping the bar there. We'll get an update on the height of that bar.
So we'll be bouncing around a little bit. We'll keep an eye on the 5,000 metres, but we will have a focus on that high jump for you and also the hammer throw, and we're not too far away as well from a start in the men's shot put.
Yeah, so Becky Green there from Otago. She recently got that 16:23 at the Sir Graham Douglas, which is a new personal best. So great to see. She was a really promising junior. Had a little bit of break where we didn't hear much from her for a while, and now she's coming into some great form running PBs. And just on her shoulder there is the yellow singlet Phoebe McKnight from Wellington.
And you say we've got the mixture here, the seniors and the under-20s running. It's the actual under-20s who are keeping Rebecca Green comfortable company at the moment. It's Charlie Miller sitting off the back there in the Waikato Bay of Plenty colours. Moving to the outside, that's Ninka Mulholland from Great Britain. So another one who's been having a summer down south. Another lovely addition to what's been a lovely multi-nations approach throughout the track and field summer of New Zealand, through Potts Classic, Porritt Classic, Cook Classic back in my hometown of Wanganui, the Capital Classic last week.
Yeah,
so Graham Douglas and building up to this one, the big one.
Yeah.
They all want to do well at. So we're just watching, we're looking at the footage that we've got here. We're just keeping an eyeball out our broadcast tent and watching the men's shot putters get themselves steady as well. So it is Rebecca Green who is at the front, now just hitting a nice wee freight train at the moment, with Charlie Miller sitting in second and Phoebe McKnight of Wellington, the diminutive runner, using the good sense to just tuck in behind the taller bodies. And now Ninka Mulholland of Great Britain sitting in fourth. Sorry, Hayden.
Yeah, I really like what Rebecca's doing here. She's just decided it's windy, but I'm just going to go out there and set a pace. I know that I can run faster than all these girls behind me on paper. So I'm going to take it to them. If someone wants to go with me, good luck to them, but I know that I can and just tempo run this. So really, really gutsy running at the moment. And so we'll try and get a split as they come up to 1K. We've just ticked over 3 minutes, so I'll try and get that lap for you as they come through.
Can you spot the running coach, ladies and gentlemen at home? This is what he lives for. Hayden Sherman does a great job as well. Split coach.
So 3:18 for that. So that means they're just a tick under, about 16:30. So that's just a little bit outside of Rebecca Green's new personal best.
Back to Hamish. High jump. Oh, it's again. A little bit of frustration from Hamish, but it is, as Hayden Sherman points out, it is another national title for Hamish Kerr, and said attended the World Championships, and that is a vital one as well as we look ahead to the Olympic Games in Tokyo, just having that one in the mix as well.
Yeah, you can see these girls just stretching out a little bit, so that pace of Becky Green, it's going to be hard to keep to, and you can always see in a distance race when you let that lead, that bungee cord just stretch out, it's a good sign that they're struggling to stay on, because you want to stay within a metre. You want to almost be clipping heels and matching stride for stride with the person in front of you, because that's when you're getting the best advantage from them breaking the wind for you. There's a big payoff. It's up to sort of 4 or 5%, especially when you've got a bit of wind just tucking in there, like we see Phoebe McKnight. It is Phoebe McKnight?
No, it's Charlie Miller that's
course.
just tucked in nicely in behind. So you've got the senior leader in Rebecca Green, and then right behind her, leader of the under-20s in Charlie Miller. As we go back to the...
Yeah, Nicole Bradley with her 4th round throw, I want to say.
Well, they have reseeded. As I said, Julia Ratcliffe is the best throw that we have recorded at 67 metres, 78 centimetres. Not too far away from a start as well from there you go, 61.51 there. So that's Rebecca Green leading, Charlie Miller in second, Charlie leading the under-20 division. Still to come here tonight on the super session of day one, Jenny and Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships. We've still got the races to decide the fastest men and women in New Zealand for the calendar year of 2020, 100 metres. And that's going to be a really good battle. Edward Osai and Ketia, however, he's had a couple of guys that have bettered him in recent times.
Yeah, things haven't gone all his way. He's definitely looked the talent of the summer. He's the man to beat. But when you've got a target on your back, it pulls the other boys along. And speaking of targets on your back, I love what Charlie Miller's doing here. She's just letting Becky Green do all the work. Now, on paper, these two are in separate races, but you've got the under-20 race and the senior race. But there's the bragging rights. There's the first across the line honours as we go back to Hamish Kerr. And that might be his third attempt. So
here's the national champion once again, but you can just see just the disappointment. Nice going there and thanking the officials. But Hamish Kerr claims the national championship for the men's high jump on home soil as well. I'm sure that'll be a nice one for him. Just to tuck away as he continues his road to Tokyo 2020 under the watchful eye of Terry Lomax. He said he shares the New Zealand high jump record with Glenn Howard. Glenn setting the record in Christchurch on March the 12th, 2000, 2 metres 30. Hamish equaling that record last year in June at the Oceania Championships in Townsville. So joint New Zealand record holder and national champion as well. As Rebecca Green continues to lead the way in the 5,000 metres senior. The lady behind her, 625 Charlie Miller out of Waikato Bay of Plenty, and Charlie leading the under-20 division of this combined race. And we will be turning our attention shortly to the shot put circle as the gentlemen continue their warm-ups. Rebecca Green leading them down the back straight. And this is the point where they've got it, for the most part, at their back. It's a wind that's sort of coming across. So as you see it on the screen, it's coming from left to right, but it is actually supporting and pushing those athletes down the back straight. And then as they come around this top bend, that's when they have to start to chug a little bit into it. It's coming more into the left side of their face as they come around to the top. And it's just sort of picking up and getting a few gusts here and there. As you can see, they just sort of lean a little bit more into the breeze. That is Green at the front and Miller in second. And Phoebe McKnight currently in third spot at the moment, and Mulholland has been dropped off in fourth.
Yeah, so Mulholland in second place.
We saw on the lap marker, it was only a fleeting look we got at that there as they head around the top.
Yeah, certainly Charlie Miller. So her personal best coming into this was a 16:50 she ran in December at the night of fives on the North Shore. Stay on there. Like we saw Hayden Wild, the triathlete, keep up with those Japanese runners in that great race at the Sir Graham Douglas meet. He just stayed on their heels and dragged him to a fantastic time of 13:47. So we'll see Hayden Wild later tonight. He'll go up against Matt Baxter, and that'll be a fantastic race, which will be on very shortly. But Becky Green doing all the hard work. You can see she's just saying another time into this headwind. So that was the 3K at 10 minutes flat. So they are staying on that 3 minutes 20 per K. So about 16:40 pace. So that's PB pace for Charlie Miller. A little bit slower than PB pace for Becky. But she's doing the work.
3K is 10 minutes. I'm just sitting there shaking my head because I think of the times that I do when I go for my afternoon trundle.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to call it a run because these are proper runners. I'm a plotter and I'm thinking to myself, goodness gracious me, so quick. And then your head really starts to spin when you start thinking about some of the times for the marathon and what some of those athletes have been doing in terms of their running and when you break it all down.
Absolutely, and running is one of those sports, and it's the same with any track and field sports. Once you give it a go, say you go down and do a long jump in the backyard or at the beach, and then you realise, oh my gosh, a 6:08, what we saw from Brianna Stevenson, is flying through the air. And you really get a good gauge on how incredible these athletes really are.
It's like I joke about the hammer throw. Go find an old iron.
Yeah.
Go out, grab it by the socket end, go out to the backyard, give yourself plenty of room. Try spinning it round, then try and stopping yourself. And it gives you just a hint, the merest hint of what it is that the hammer throwers are doing. Rebecca Green just cruising along nicely, but gee, you really got to like the way Charlie Miller and how she is just tucked in very nicely here.
Yeah, she's looking really smoothly as well. She's got a nice relaxed style and just benefiting from that drafting effect. It is significant when you're running at these paces and when you've got this sort of wind in your face. So as they go down the back straight, we'll soon come into 1K to go. So 12.5 laps on the track. It's a long way. You get very good at turning left when you're a distance runner running on the track. But you can see Charlie just grimacing, getting into the deep, dark stages of the 5,000 meter race. National titles on the line, and these two women at the moment have gold in their hands because there's two events going here.
They are as well. Now we are going to look to catch up with Hamish Kerr on the back of his high jump performance as we watch Rebecca and Charlie continue to work their way through this 5,000 metres. Hopefully we will hear from Hamish Kerr, who's just won the senior men's title at the New Zealand the Track and Field Championships. Rebecca.
So 3 laps to go in this 5,000 meter race. And still like it was at the start.
What are you looking right now? Okay, so you like what Charlie's doing at the moment, and she's just sitting. Tactically, what would you like her? If you were coaching Charlie, what would you like her to be thinking now as she's held really nicely to the back of a very good athlete in Rebecca Green? What would you like her to be thinking as she starts thinking about how she finishes this particular event?
Yeah, so you're going to wait for the bell. That's the key. When you're in a position like Charlie is, right on the shoulder, you've really got to wait for that bell and let that be your cue to start making a move. I probably wouldn't go until at least 200 meters to go. Make the most of all that wind you can get. But often you see when you're feeling good, you come up onto that right-hand shoulder of the athlete in front. So that's a sign that Charlie's feeling really good. Just putting a bit of pressure on Becky, and if anything, I'm seeing Becky's cadence just slowing up a little bit, maybe a little bit of fatigue setting in. So as we get down to the crunch time of this race, they've gone through 4K, they're well into the last K now, and this is going to be a fascinating race.
So how does it work? I mean, if Charlie were to win this particular race, is she crowned the senior and the under-20s champion as well?
No, I think that they are separate races on paper, so...
She'll know, though. She will know. This is a wonderful race we're watching at the moment. So as they just work their way around the top bend one more time.
And remember, coming into this race, Charlie's got a 27-second deficit as far as personal bests go. And she's right on the shoulder. Is she taking the lead now? It looks like she is. This is very early, and you can see Becky just struggling a little bit. Those shoulders are rocking and rolling. The cadence may be dropping a little bit. Charlie's gritting her teeth. And also Phoebe McKnight looking pretty good, just about 30-40 metres back in third place on the track. But look at that, a 3-metre gap there. There is 600 metres to run.
She is 17 years old, the young lady who is leading this particular race at the moment. Charlie Miller out of the Waikato Bay of Plenty Club. Rebecca Green out of Otago in second spot at the moment, the 26-year-old, coming off the back of a very good performance at the Sir Graham Douglas International. But Charlie Miller at the moment looking very comfortable as they come down. I believe this could be the bell lap.
Now this will be the bell lap. Now Becky really needs to stay strong because it is demoralizing when you get past. You need to stay in the game and not think, oh my gosh, I made a massive mistake leading the race for 11 laps. But here they go, last lap.
And you see Rebecca just make a wee bit of a surge. She's just closed up that gap ever so slightly. As they go round the top, 350 metres to go in the women's 5,000 metres. It's the combined senior and under-20 title on the up for grabs, I should say. And Charlie Miller, the 17-year-old, with the advantage at the moment over Rebecca Green.
Now, Rebecca Green got a bronze medal in the 1,500 metres last year, so she's got a kick on her, but she, of course, is fatigued. And look at that. Charlie Miller's just opened it up. The 17-year-old has, you can see she's opened up the hands, got the sprint hands going on, and she's really opening up with that. That bell's given her a really good kick in the backside, opening up 10, maybe 15 metres. It's really pulling away, and Becky Green is suffering for all that work that she had to do. And like I said before, great tactics. Charlie Miller just tucking in.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what this time is, because you're keeping an eye on that personal best for us as she comes down. This has been a really good run. 17 years of age.
Yeah, so
Might make a mental note of that one possibly.
it
Charlie
will be
Miller.
a personal best, 16:42 according to my time, maybe about 16:43. And here comes the woman who had to do all the work, Becky Green. She'll get first place in the senior race. And you can see a bit of a deflated look there.
Hello, we recognise this fella. Wearing the Canterbury colours. Tom Walsh. Into the circle. That's gone a long way.
That has gone a long way.
Let's go back and see what Tom, who's been pretty good with the emotional side of it. There you see Charlie Miller just checking the clock. 1, 2, 3, Charlie Miller, Rebecca Green, Phoebe McKnight. And you see the measurements taking place. It's over 20. Let's see what the Tom Watch's opening throw. He opens with a 21.10.
That's a good solid start on a cold evening.
He's been throwing around the 21s, hasn't been able to crack 22, and there's been a bit of talk because some of his other leading competitors from the shot put around the world have been past that 22 mark. But Tom, all about what's happening with regards to the Olympic Games. You know, he's got that spot booked in. Here's Janu Shader, our German competitor. So we're trying to have an opportunity to catch up with Hamish Kerr very shortly. We've got Jacko Gill coming up in a couple of more throws, so we'll see if we can take that throw of Jacko first before we go to Jacko Flaherty and see if we can catch up with Hamish Kerr, national high jump champion for 2020. You see Janu Shader having a little bit of hydration there. We've got Nathaniel Sulupop, who is due next in the circle. There is Nathaniel, the Wellingtonian, 21 years of age. And then Jacko Gill is due up next. So Tom Walsh is off and running. Also got another Canadian athlete here as well, and Nick Ponzio. There you go, Nathaniel's first put of the night.
You're getting up towards those 16-metre markers.
So here comes Jacko Gill. And we haven't seen Jacko a lot this year. He's a man who has a lot of age group records, and of course has really had some good competition with Tom Walsh in the past. Great to see Jacko back. So he had some health issues which I think put the scare through a lot of people. Here he is. Look, a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of brace around the ankle there. Fingers taped. Nestles that just in behind the right ear.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, hello. Hello. That is a throw and a bit.
Where's he been all summer? Well, he just arrived back on the scene.
Well,
I think this might be beyond 21.10 that we saw from Tom Walsh. So that was a phenomenal throw. Let's have another look at this. He's got that ankle stretch, but look at this.
We will get the measurement. We will get the measurement. Let's have a look at this. 21.07, so just 3 centimetres short. Game on. Game on in the shot put circle. Let's see if we can catch up and maybe have that interview now with Hamish Kerr. We'll see if we can get Hamish chatting with our man Jacko Flaherty.
And the high jump. Here with Hamish Kerr jumping 2.16 in the high jump today. But the story of the day is the weather. How tough was it?
It was pretty rough. Like for us, it's such a timing-based event, and yeah, just to have that wind like rocketing up behind us is, you know, it's not the easiest thing in the world, but we made the most of it and still jumped pretty high.
And you're edging pretty close to that Olympic qualifying height as well. What's next for you?
Over to Brisbane in 2 weeks to compete in one of their track classics, which is a really world-class field, and then hopefully on to Tokyo. But still got to chase a couple more points, get a couple more good performances under my belt, and then we should be good.
You've had a good season, so go well.
Cheers, mate.
As we cut back to the ceremony for the women's shot put. That's Hamish Kerr. So as we see the celebration, there's Dame Valerie Adams and Brittany Crew. Been a great shot put competition for the women. And with the way Jack O'Gill has started, along with Tom Walsh, we could be in for some fun and games in the senior men's.
I am excited, Nigel. I'm very excited.
Well,
And we've
so-
also got the 100-metre senior men, senior women still to come tonight.
Let's see some of the fields. That's going to feature, I think, all 4 members of the New Zealand 4x100 metre relay team who broke the national record at the Canberra Classic last month. That's going to be absolutely stacked. It'll also feature a lady who was part of your feature performance from the day session today in Brianna Stevenson from the long jump. She'll be doubling up and she'll be in the 100 metres final senior as well.
Yeah, amazing. Very busy weekend for a lot of these sprinters. They'll often be in. Look at this little assist up.
As I say, that's what we talk about with the camaraderie that we see from the shot putters. You see it a lot in all of the events. As there we are.
This is
the
it.
field. This is a good field. Let's work it through from right to left for you. There you see it. Gary Cockrum's Hyundai Senior 100 metres final.
So lane 2, Brianna Stevenson from Auckland. Lane 3, Fiona Morrison of Canterbury. Lane 4, Livy Wilson of Auckland. Lane 5, Brooke Summerfield of Waikato Bay of Plenty. Lane 6, Zoe Hobbs of Auckland. Lane 7, Rosie Elliott of Otago. Lane 8, Natasha Eadie of Auckland. Lane 9, Georgia Hulls of Hawke's Bay Gisborne. The who's who of New Zealand female sprinting right now.
And it's interesting as well because what I'm interested in is that wind is just dropping enough, and it'll be interesting to see whether it means that the wind speed drops below that 2 metres per second. But what you are looking for here, Zoe Hobbs, lane 6. As I said, this is stacked. Stevenson, Morrison, Wilson, Summerfield, Hobbs, Elliott, Eadie, Hulls. As you see it from right to left. Senior 100 metres women's. Oh, a bit of nerves. Who was that?
Well, it's
Who
a cold.
was that?
It's a cold night, so these ladies are going to be jumpy. And we saw earlier in the junior men's race.
Let's see if we can see who went. Or just, I think it might have been, was that Rosie Elliott?
I think it was, yeah. You can see her head went up. She knows there was a little flinch there. Is she going to get permission to run under protest? What's the call going to be?
She's looking. And we wait now for our officials to make that particular call.
Gets the green flag. Right. We are back in business.
Full field. So once again, from the right, as you see it, Stevenson, Morrison, Wilson, Summerfield, Hobbs, Elliott, Eadie, Hulls. Just as that breeze as well just drops ever so slightly. They're sprinting on the far side of the track here at Napuniwai. All eyes though. Lane 6, Zoe Hobbs. In the starter's hands. 100 metres final, senior women.
Oh, I saw a little flinch there
I think
from
that was
Livy.
Livy. Yeah, Livy Wilson in lane number 4. Just you saw the head ever so slightly.
And you can tell the nerves because this has been a big year of female sprinting, and all these girls, they want that place in that 4x1 team. This is really a qualification piece aside
I
from the
suspect
medals.
they also want the gold medal in the 100 metres at the Junior and Home National Track and Field title too.
Yeah, besides Zoe, they're all lining up so close this season. They're all around sort of that 10-7, 11-7, 11-8 mark. This is going to be really interesting to see who can get the silver and the bronze.
Third time the charm, and we are away, and straight away you see Zoe Hobbs show out. Look at the class of Zoe Hobbs going down the outside too. I think that's Rosie Elliott going to get the silver medal. What a run, Zoe Hobbs. Have some of that, she says, ladies. What a run.
Rosie Elliott in second, and I want to say it was Brooke Summerfield comes through for that third place. Wow, but Zoe Hobbs, just the class of this girl. So 11:47 is the time. It's a legal wind.
Wow. That is, now think, New Zealand record 11.32 by Michelle Seymour set back in 93. Actually, have a look at the outside. Georgia Hulls, I reckon, may have done some damage there too. And she did. She snuck up to get bronze.
There we go, by 200ths of a second behind Rosie Elliott. So difficult to see on the angle, and it was Brooke Summerfield in 11.8 in fourth, Natasha Eady in fifth, Livy Wilson was 12.04 in sixth.
The wind speed was 1.3, so 1.3 metres per second as Fiona Morrison's time pops up on our timing sheet. That was a good 100-metre sprint, but my goodness, Zoe Hobbs, she's 2/10 clear. That's impressive in the sprinting game.
Yeah, and she's just been so consistent, and you see she's got the best start of all the girls. She's got the best middle stage. She's got the best top end speed, and that just gives her that 2/10 of a second over the 100 metres just consistently throughout the season. She's just been, I don't want to say head and shoulders, but certainly a head above the rest of the pack.
Here comes Tom Walsh with his second of the night.
Now that got a reasonable clap from the audience, but I don't think that's an improvement on his 21:10 first round.
Yeah, very stony
It'll be
face
close to
from Tom. No real emotions showing whether he was pleased or displeased as we get a replay of this one. So 21.06 we are hearing. That's the voice of Murray McKinnon that we are hearing come through in the back. So 21.06 for Tom Walsh. Jack O'Gill to throw again shortly. And we are building up as well to the men's 100 metres final. And we spoke about Zoe Hobbs and what a class she's been, but also those other runners that have been pushing her. Well, I can tell you right now, we're in for one fun race coming up very shortly. There we see all the competitors getting ready. Jan Shader of Germany with his second throw in the men's shot put. And this is going to be fascinating because all eyes, as they have been since he burst onto the scene, is on Edward Osei and Ketia, but Tian Wilpin, Hamish Gill, they've been in good form.
Yeah, there's some guys who definitely want to take down the big man Eddie, but Eddie's great at coming to the party at these big events. He really does rise to the occasion, and that's what I love about him. He knows when to really put it on. I remember watching the New Zealand secondary schools champs where we had Jacob Stockwell not far behind him, but Eddie just knows how to turn it on when it really matters.
Well, we get some presentations. That's Bernadine Oliver Kirby, Sky Sport, who's doing some of the presentations tonight. Krishnan, clearly. We had the false start issues there, but that's obviously been cleared up, and he has won the gold medal in that particular race. As we look now for our next athlete stepping into the shot put circle, and it will be Jack O'Gill, who came out and threw 21.07 to start. Tom Walsh with 21.10, so 3 centimetre advantage for Tom. Let's see what Jacko can do with his second put of the night.
14.79.
So here is Jacko Gill now. 25 years of age.
Oh, I'm excited to see how this man has come with a whole lot of energy, a whole lot of determination and desire to take it to Tom. These two have had just such a fantastic friendly rivalry, but it's definitely been a rivalry.
I didn't like that one over the front of the stop board. So, of course, 21.05. It'll be an automatic qualifier as well for Tokyo. That ticket punched. Here we go. This is the field. Senior men's 100 metres. Cody Wilson of Wellington in lane 2. Elliot Nye and Tian Velpin in lanes 3 and 4. Tian, the man who got over the top of the man in lane 5. Edwards, Osei and Getia at the Capital Classic last week. James Guthrie Croft of Auckland. Hamish Gill of Auckland. Filling out lane 6 and 7. Zach Topping of Manawatu Wanganui in lane 8. And Jordan Boland of Auckland rounding out what is a very good field in the senior men's 100 metres. There you see Tian Velpen. There is Edward Osai-Nketia. 181.
So last year it was Eddie took the win, and then that man on the end wearing number 119, Jordan Bolland, came through for second place. Hamish Gill was in third. So let's see how things stack up.
We just saw the class of the field and Zoe Hobbs dominate the women's. Wilson 2, Nye 3, Velpen 4, Osai-Nketia in 5, Guthrie Croft 6, Gill 7, topping 8, Ball in 9. That is your field in starters' hands. And away, a good, clean start. And Edward Osai-Nketia gets about his work. Tian Wilpin going with him at the moment. Eddie's a showman. Eddie loves the big stage. Watch out for Jordan Boland down the other side. Edward Osai-Nketia. What a run. National champion. He comes to the party big time. In a big way. They love the big show to the sprinters. Yes, he says.
The double claim. He really does know how to bring it to the party. Look at those big arms. He gets them going. When this guy gets up to speed, he really, really moves. On the outside of him, Hamish Gill was looking strong and finishing strong. Just 7/100ths of a second behind him.
10.46, and just to show what is happening with the breeze, that's actually was into a very minor headwind for Edward. So and the rest of the crew.
Strong time, so 10.46 for Eddie. Hamish Gill, 10.53. Tian Welpton, 10.71. So good solid times into a headwind, and let's be honest, it was probably a variable, maybe headwind for part of it, tailwind for part of it. But look at that smile. He's a happy man. Only 18 years of age. This guy's got another year of school. Can you believe it? He's just such a talent. And looking through that top three, we've got Eddie, age 18, Tian, age 19, Hamish Gill, 22. The sprint ranks in New Zealand are young. These are youthful guys with the next 6, 7, 8 years ahead of them. You know, the next 3 Olympics, these guys will be at the top of their game. So
that's the thing.
Keep an eye on those names.
We're talking about the top 6 all running sub 11 seconds, and as Hayden has just pointed out, you know, the youth that is in there. So exciting. And it really completes New Zealand track and field, because we've always had strength in the middle distance, and we've always had athletes who have been good in the field events and the combined events as well. But I wouldn't say we have lacked, because we have had good sprinters in the past, but this is just a crop that is just developing so nicely. And talking with Sarah Cowley-Ross this morning on Radio Sport, sort of previewing the 3 days of the Jenny and Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships. You know, it's the fact that that group is coming through, and if you get 4 and you get them going in the relay, like we've seen with this wonderful group of young women sprinters, you get into a relay at a big event, it's a lolly scramble. It can be an absolute lolly scramble, but if you've got your technique and your baton change going really well, you've got the ability. How many times did we used to joke about the USA relay teams at the Olympic Games go out there 4 fastest out there, but they could not change a baton to save themselves, and they would end up making some calamitous mistakes. It's just then there's the staying in the lane and all those little things as well.
Yep,
it's so exciting.
It's an art, it's a science, those relays, and we've certainly, the men's and women's side, we've got just so much depth and so much talent, and the sprint coaches around the country are doing a great job at getting the boys and the girls together for hurdles, for hurdles practice, for relay practice. We've seen a lot of meets put on, special relay races, so they get that practice throughout the summer.
Lauren Bruce there, frustrated as the hammer clips the front of the cage. So it's another no throw. Here's Tom Walsh. This is his third throw. 20 metres 10 with his first, 21.10 with his first, 21.06 with his second. What's he got for the third, Big Tom?
Ooh. It got a good clap. It looks like it's just beyond the 20-metre mark, so I don't think that's an improvement. Had a good yell on it.
Yeah, he's you don't need to be too much of a lip reader to understand. He's not overly chuffed with that last one. I think it'll probably be in the 20-metre range, as Hayden Sherman has alluded to. Exactly 21, so bang on 21 metres. So that's a good opening set, 21.10, 21.06, 21 metres, but you can just sense the frustration in Tom Walsh. He knows it's there, and he is realistic. He understands that this is the long game. There's a much bigger prize down the line, but you just sense as well that he'd be like to throwing just a little bit more than sort of 21.30s and 21.40s, which we have seen from him. As we get back to the hammer throw, they work their way through. Also got the men's 5,000 metres not too far away.
So Nicole Bradley there out of Auckland, 27 years old.
And there, and around that 60 metre mark, maybe a shade under it. As you're taking the, try and do the imaginary curve in your mind between the far side marker and the near side marker. See a few of the officials there just rugging up, doing a great job. As always, there's Julia Radcliffe in the foreground, just putting the hair behind the ears. There she is. Just going through some mental visualisation.
Yeah, today we've seen some great visualisation from our female athletes, in particular Brianna Stevenson. If you can watch her on the runway on a long jump, she goes through this wonderful process of getting her body and her mind just in the right frame of mind, right, feeling the wind almost. And you can see here Julia, she's done this thousands of times, getting ready to line up in that circle, going through the exercise that wake her body up, wake her mind up, get her primed and ready.
Just been paused at the moment. It should give us a chance actually to duck back to Jacko Gill and catch his shot in the his next throw, I should say, in the men's shot put. It's a pause for some reason over there at the women's hammer. Here is Jacko. Opening throw of 21.07. No throw with the second. So here he is, cradling the shot in his hands.
Oh, this looks good.
Another one again, around similar mark.
Yeah, up beyond that 20 metre mark. We'll see how close it is. So 21.07 in the first round. And
Let's
that
have a
looked
look.
like it might be close. It's always tricky to tell on the angle.
Well, it's always hard to just get that gauge. Also because as well, like if you're watching, some of the other track and field, they have the advantage obviously of having the graphics sort of overlaid on there. Let's have a look. 20.90. 20.90 is the distance there for Jacko Gill. So that's his first lot of three. So they will look to reseed now. That'll be Tom and Jacko, who will be the last two throwers in the men's senior shot put. We'll keep an eye on Julia Radcliffe. We've got an opportunity as well coming up very shortly to have an interview with the lady who has dominated the 100 metres in the women's, and that is Zoe Hobbs. We look to catch up with her very shortly as our coverage of the Ginny and Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championship continues here on Sky Sport and Sky Sport Next, the YouTube channel. Keeping an eye on the action as well of Julia Radcliffe too. There's the start list for the main freight senior men's 1,500, 5,000 metres,
I'm loving the abbreviation there of the Sumner Running Club. Some run.
Some run.
The production team did a great job. So Sumner Running Club, you may want to consider that as a fun little nickname for your team.
I was about to say, you've had a very long day at the commentary box, quite clearly, if you're already starting to look for those sort of things. This is a big field, by the way. Very big field. We'll be standing by, hopefully catch Julia Radcliffe's next throw of the hammer. Also standing by, hopefully, too, to get to Zoe Hobbs and catch an interview with the 2020 New Zealand Women's 100 metres champion, and she did it in very impressive fashion as well. Let's go now, and let's see, go to Jake O'Flaherty, who is with Zoe Hobbs. Just going Going to Jake and Zoe just standing by just in a couple of moments' time as we just wait for things to get sorted here. A very impressive and dominant run from Zoe. Let's go to Zoe Hobbs, who's with Jake O'Flaherty now.
Well, Zoe Hobbs, 4th time in a row, national champion. That must sit pretty well.
Yeah, it's a pretty special feeling to be able to take out 4 titles, so I'm happy to come away today with the win.
And there's a bit of complication at the start of that race too, with false starts, some happenings going on. Was that going on in the mind, a hard preparation?
Yeah, it does always play on the mind a little bit when there's a false start, and especially 2 times as well, but it was more just the atmosphere and trying to refocus for the next start, yeah. And also being cold, we were trying to keep warm as well.
And this puts you at a good spot for Brisbane and Australia as well. As the psyche going pretty well at this point in your career?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. It's just a matter of pulling it together in a race with good conditions. Today we were a little bit unfortunate with what was out there, but hopefully I can pull something together when I go to Aussie in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Congratulations today and good luck with it.
Thank you.
Zoe Hobbs, yeah, that Brisbane meeting will be another opportunity to earn some points as well. So Zoe Hobbs, like, dominant and good to see.
Yeah, great.
We're talking 1/10, and I know it's only 1/10 though off that record, which you know is the target, or another one of these wonderful New Zealand records, which has stood for a wee while now, since February 1993 from Michelle Seymour. But you just wonder if she can get to that good competition, as she alluded to, with those good conditions. You know that record is going to come under some serious threat. Here is Julia Radcliffe.
Talking about records being under serious threat, here she goes. Oh, just losing her bounce a little bit, but she had a good look at that one.
It's forcing the officials to go for a bit of a scoot. Might be around 70. That could be one out over 70 metres.
This is exciting. Is she having a good look at it? It's always hard to read, Julia. She's understated.
I think that one, if it's not 70, it's not very far from under it. We're going to get a lot great camera work being done here by the Stream Shop crew. They're going to be right there on the spot if that first number's changed to 7, and it is 73-31. 73-31 by Julia Radcliffe. Biggest throw of the night. Let's have a look at this one. Look at the balance, the speed, the pirouette. And then she really rips that hammer out there. And it's almost look of, yay, finally.
So 70-31. So that's getting up towards her New Zealand record, getting closer. She's in the 70s now. And so this big field of the 5,000 metres, there's 30 names to roll through. So shall I make a start?
Well, I'll tell you what, how about this? Which is, we will obviously sort of keep our eyeballs on. Who are the ones that you know? Who do you think are going to be at the forefront of this particular event? Let's start with them first, please.
The key names to look out for are 2 names. So Matthew Baxter and Hayden Wild. They're the key ones to look out for. They're well into the 13s as far as their 5K personal best. Matt Baxter trains over in northern Arizona there at altitude, so he's got a serious engine, but also a serious engine. Hayden Wild, being a triathlete, he's got a lot of aerobic conditioning, but also keep an eye out for Jacob Pretty, Cameron Graves, Ben Moynihan, Josh Macy, Peter Wheeler. All these men you would consider are definitely medal chances, if not going after potentially a silver. So how this race unfolds is going to be the interesting one. Are we going to see, like we saw in the women's race, where Rebecca Green took it out hard and took the wind and end up coming second in the race, paying for that? Or are we going to see a bit more of a tactical race?
Right, I better start talking so you can get your stopwatch ready, Coach, because I know he'll be watching these splits hawk-eyed. So Matthew Baxter out of the Taranaki Club. Bib number 561 to look out for. That other name that you heard, Hayden Wild, who is an outstanding triathlete. He is from the Waikato Bay of Plenty Club, and he is in bib number 714. It is a big field for the 5,000 metres, the men's senior 5,000 metres at the Jenny Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championship.
A split start, so 30 men on the track. Now this is where traffic becomes an issue, because if you're in the middle, even just one of those packs, you're going to be getting spiked on your shins. You can see Josh Macy just coming in there, tucking in behind Matt Baxter in the green of Taranaki. Not particularly a Taranaki colour, but that's the uniform that Taranaki runs in. So Matt Baxter straight to the front. Now this is going to be very interesting, so I'll keep an eye on what we go through for this first lap.
Just the other racer that you heard Hayden allude to is Hayden Wild. He is currently 5 back on the inside. You just see him there, middle of your shot, 7-1-4.
Yeah. Wearing the black.
And he put up a brave performance the last time we saw him, which was at the Sir Graham Douglas International at Waitakere.
So Cameron Graves there, the tall figure wearing the Auckland 142. It's his bib number. He's your reigning New Zealand cross-country champ. So 68 seconds. So that's nice and quick. It's not electric, but it's nice and quick, and we'll test a lot of the guys in this field. A lot of them will be looking more like a sort of 14:30 type time. And so at the moment, they're going out well beyond that.
So leading them down, it is Matthew Baxter. And there you can see Hayden Wild as well. It's Graves currently sitting in second spot out of the Auckland Running Club as they work their way through the early stages of the 5,000 metres. This is the senior men's. Also going on in the background as well, we're about to begin the 4th, 5th and 6th rounds of the men's senior shot put. Great little battle at the moment between Tom Walsh with 21.10, Jacko Gill with 21.07. And we've just seen a big throw by Julia Radcliffe getting out over the 70 metres. And now it's got to the point, Hamish, Hayden, and we mentioned this earlier, that if she doesn't throw over 70, you're sitting there going, you know what, she hasn't had a great night. And that was the magical barrier for her, was getting past that 70 metres. And then she just destroyed that. And now anything less than 70 metres is a poor night in her eyes. As again, Baxter continues to lead them through and around. Again, we just get an indication, just every once in a while the wind sort of drops away and then you see that big surge. You can see the way it's just puffing up the pole vault pads there as they make their way around the top straight here at Napuniwai.
Yeah, so they were slightly slower on that second lap, and as you can see, Hayden Wild's just come up. He's sitting in 3rd place there, so a really handy position there. Ben Moynihan in the blue of Auckland, also Josh Macy, his teammate, just behind him. So as they come up to 1K...
Hayden Wild just pushing to the front now. Looks like he's decided he wants to up the tempo a little bit here, Hayden. So as he strides forward, he's actually taken a wee bit of a break.
So that was just 2:55. So that is a 14:35 pace. Now Hayden's decided, look, I can run under 14, and I don't want this to come down to a sprint race because I know there's some quality 1,500 metre runners behind me. So if I can put the odds in my favour, I'm going to do it by getting up nice and hard. And it's great to see this from Hayden Wild, the triathlete. Wouldn't it be amazing to see a triathlete come here and take the 5,000 metre title?
Well, we have seen some other triathletes come to the New Zealand Track and Field Championship and really sort of put the cat amongst the pigeons. I believe Andrea Hewitt's done it a couple of times as well, as we see Hayden Wild lead it through. That was Jan Usheda, by the way. You saw the German athlete as they begin the next stage of the shot put.
So Hayden has just laid it down here. This is a phenomenal lap. He's just split. Well, I got 67 seconds for that lap. So that's quick. That's moving. So that's more like the 13:47 pace that we saw from him the other night. He's just looking over his shoulder, seeing if Matt's coming. Because look, if these two work together, this is the other element. If they work together, they can pull away from this pack and just make it a 2-horse race.
Well, he's just looking over his shoulder and you can see them, and they're just having a look. And now he decides, I'm going to drop in. And Matthew Baxter holds on the shoulder, and let's see what those two young men are doing, looking for a little bit of cover. They're not the only one looking for a little bit of cover as well, as Bernadine Oliver-Kirby comes scurrying into the commentary tent as well. Doing a great job with some of the presentation. Great, of course, to be broadcasting on Sky Sport Channel 9, Sky Sport Next, the YouTube channel. This wonderful new initiative giving a whole lot of sports, not just track and field, a whole lot of sports the opportunity to showcase a wonderful array of talented athletes we've got across New Zealand. Here's Ryan Ballantyne. Pops that one out there.
Or is that beyond the 20-meter mark? Just
just
short of it.
under.
He's
Just
been
under.
getting closer and closer all summer long.
Well, his personal best. I think last time we saw it, it was at 1975 or 1974.
Yeah,
Hayden Sherman
I
goes
think
ducking for the spreadsheet.
I think he's gone into. He's 1985,
Here we
so that
go.
was when he won the Capital Classic just last weekend. Oh, close.
1964. Again, now as we spoke, as we go back to Hayden Wild and Baxter, as there's a few bodies getting strewn. Now on the 5,000 metres. But there, now his next mental barrier, if you want to call it, 20 metres. When he can get to that one there, that'll be absolutely superb for him. Interestingly, tactical race going on here between Hayden and Matthew. Hayden sort of looked like he was sort of giving up the lead, and then Matthew's like, no, I'm cool. I'm just going to sit behind you. I saw what Charlie Miller did last time in the women's race. I might try that.
Things.
Jack O'Gill back in the circle.
Are we on round 4? Is this?
Pretty sure this is round number 4 that we are at here. Senior men's shot put.
I love the power that he generates in that circle. He's a very, very powerful man. If you've ever seen some of his workout clips that he produces, he's got a great Instagram if you want to see some meaty workout, some tin being thrown around the garage.
21.07 was his best. That's 20.62. So still the 21.07, which he threw in his first throw of the evening.
So Matt Baxter's taken the lead. So interesting to see these two sharing it round. And I bet you Hayden Wild was saying over his shoulder, look, come and take a lap for me, bro.
Let's get to Tom Walsh, who's in the shot put circle. You keep an eye on the running. I'll do the...
Will do.
The buffet busters. Here they are. Spin.
Busters.
Gets that one out there. Does he like that one? I think he's a little bit happier with that one.
That looks
I think he's a little bit
20.
happier with it. Yeah. The body language is a lot different.
I think he's into the high 21s there. I'm gonna
I'm
lay out the
already
call.
writing 21 down.
Yep.
21.7. That's season's best, I believe, as well. Yeah.
So 21.66 is his best this season. So 21.7, he's pumped about that.
Yeah, well chuffed as well. Very well chuffed. So there we go. So that is Gill and Walsh. So Walsh now extends his lead by 63 centimetres. Here's the match race.
Yeah, this is great to see these two working together. They've obviously worked out, look, there's some speedy guys just behind us. Cam Graves, Ben Moynihan, and they have good quality kicks on them. So Matt Baxter and Hayden Wild just sharing the lead out. And look at how smoothly these guys are moving. They are shifting.
This is great to see. They're around the top end of the Ngāpurewa track. This is the 5,000 metres for men. Hayden Wild, as I say, a wonderful New Zealand triathlete, and has got a motor on him,
And
be it in water, on bike or on land.
So training partner with Sam Tanner, so the reigning 1,500 metre New Zealand champ. So he's got a great pair of wheels or pair of heels, I should say, just to stay on. Now they've gone through 3K in just a tick under 8:40. So it's not lightning quick, but it has sped up markedly as we've seen just the way that this race has opened up. So
Well, what we're watching at the moment is a team pursuit. Basically, Hayden is leading through one lap, and then he just slides off at the turn, allows Matthew to come through.
Exactly. They may as well have banked turns here and just go up high on the wall and then let the mate just roll through. So these two working really well together.
Hayden, though, just coming up onto that right shoulder, which, as you alluded to in the women's 1,500 metres, is a sign that he's feeling reasonably comfortable. And whilst he is letting Matt do that work, just sitting there very nicely at the moment. I think we've got some really interesting finish coming up to this particular race.
It'll be very interesting. And I can tell you now, Hayden Wild this summer has been on Project Kick. So he's been learning how to develop that kick and really be able to go with the best in the business in the triathlon and not get out-kicked in those final 400s. So he has speed. And Matt Baxter, he's a very efficient mover, but would he want to leave it to the last 200? I don't know. If I was Matt, I'd be 1K out, looking to ramp it up.
You use the term efficient mover. Can you explain for those of us, and I'll include myself here, who want to understand what you mean when you talk about a runner moving efficiently? What are we looking for?
Yeah, so I mean, looking at him on screen as they just swap around, beautiful team tactics here. It just looks like he's going for a run, but when you see him in person and your right track side, he makes no noise on the track. You can barely hear him coming, and just so efficient. And it's something you'll see from these elite distance runners. Very little wasted energy. They do this sort of paced work all the time, and they become very efficient, muscle memory, and they become very efficient at the pace they're moving. So their bodies are designed, they are developed and really adjusted to running at this 5K pace. They know it very well. As we see just a little stretch in the elastic between the two runners.
So Hayden Wild continuing to lead. I'll tell you how big it is for the National Track and Field, the Jenny and Holmes National Track and Field Championships here in Christchurch. Just saw Ruben Thorne wander past. It was a game of rugby somewhere else tonight. He's chosen the track and field.
Great to
Over
see.
the code, Ruben Thorne. This is a really fascinating race. I can tell you right now, Hayden Shearman, it's very, very hard to keep him locked down at the moment. He's loving what he's watching at the moment.
Yeah.
The running coach, host of the Kiwi Running Show podcast as well.
I'm loving seeing these two work together, and I'm loving seeing a Taranaki runner right up the front. So they've got 3 laps to go. So Matt Baxter, recently back from altitude, back from Arizona to his home of New Zealand. And here he is. Him and Hayden Wild working so well together. They've opened up. You can't see them on screen, but it is Ben Moynihan and Cam Graves who are probably 100 metres behind. So interesting battle going back there for the 2 Auckland teammates for the bronze medal.
Now, just so people watching from overseas, and we appreciate there are a few people that have tuned in via Sky Sport Next, the YouTube channel, the reason why Hayden keeps referring to the colour of the Taranaki singlet is because traditionally, Taranaki is amber and black. It's yellow and black, yet as you can see there, it's green with a bit of orange and black into it. Hence the reason why there is the reference that this proud Taranaki man beside me keeps making.
Well, I've only been there for 2.5 years, but I am a proud Taranaki-ite.
So that is Ryan Ballantyne with his next throw.
He knows he's got it in him. He knows that 20 metre is there. And I spoke to his coach just last night, and he said it's coming. It's right there. The training has been going well. The training suggests he's got it, and he just needs to put it together on the night.
This is a great little match race. We've got Jacko Gill and Tom Walsh in the shot put as well, which we are keeping tabs on. Jacko, I think, will be the next one possibly into the circle. As Baxter now leads them down. Wild staying in behind him, not letting him get too far in front. This has been a beautiful running display by these two young men.
Yeah, 400 metres to go now. They'll get the bell here, and Matt Baxter is leaving it late, I've got to say. This is going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds, because Matt has been... He's had a little niggle, so there's that question mark, but he's certainly got the best PB out of the two.
Here's Jacko Gill, 5th throw. Loses a little bit of poise.
Looks like it's over
Does
that
look like
20
a
metre
good
mark
throw.
again.
We'll keep an eye on that one as Baxter and Wild down the back straight with 250 to go.
Yeah, Baxter really winding
metres.
it up now, but Hayden is staying right on his heels, not letting him go anywhere. Hayden has been working on that kick all summer long. Let's see how all that speed work has paid off. Can he stay on him? Can he pass him? Is he coming through the inside?
He has. He's left the door open, and Hayden Wild, he goes. This is a heads-up match race, as it has been for about 5,000 metres. This is a super race. There's that kick. There's the kick you talked about, Hayden
Wow.
Sherman. Yeah, he loves it. Yeah, he loves it, and rightfully so.
This man was supposed to be over in the Middle East running in a triathlon right now. It was cancelled because of the coronavirus.
Here's Tom Walsh. He's in there. Does he like that one? Tom Walsh, that one there. It's around, I'd say it'll be around sort of that high 20s, maybe 21. He can feel it there. 21.70 still his best. How good that race, Coach. How good.
I got to say, look at this beautiful sprint technique. So Matt's trying to stay with him, but look at that good arm drive and that good leg turnover. You can see the way the knees are coming up, that good front side mechanics, and boy, did he love that. The trip to the Middle East was cancelled to the ITU race, but he won't go home this weekend empty-handed. Fantastic. Now, we missed who picked up the bronze medals. We had to skip away to the shot put. I want to say it was Ben Moynihan who just pipped Cam Graves, who's had a bit of a tough summer.
I think you're right. I think it was Moynihan who came through. 20.67, by the way, for Tom Walsh. So one more throw left in the men's senior shot put. What a race by Baxter and Wild. And we can't dispel what Matthew Baxter did. That was a superb race. Time of 14.13, we're saying here, as we move into our final round of throws in the men's senior shot put. And this has been a great wee competition.
Yeah, so this is the last event now at Napunawai as the lights are on. The sun has gone down and all eyes turn towards the shot put circle for the final round.
Nathaniel Salupo with his final put, 21-year-old out of Wellington. So he's
best hairdo in the competition.
Done tonight. And there you see is Nick Palmer, Hawke's Bay Gisborne representative. Now that was a great finish on the track. And
Yeah.
that one there in terms of your performers of the day, Hayden Wild's got to probably get right up into the mix along with Zoe Hobbs and Edward Osai and Ketia, and what we saw a little bit earlier in the day as well from Quentin Roux.
Absolutely. And for a triathlete to win a national medal in the 5K, that is an incredible feat. And we were talking about Hayden Wild with his 13:47 a couple of weeks ago as being probably the second fastest triathlete ever in running. Zane Yates, the British boy, is a click quicker, but just amazing talent, Hayden Wild. I really can't emphasize that enough.
Well, that's extraordinary when you think of the great British brothers, the Brownlees, who just smashed everything. And you think about what they used to do at 10K at the back end of a triathlon, and to think now, we're talking about Hayden being one of the second. I mean, the Brownlees were just animals.
Yeah.
They just get, they were animals in the water, on the bike, off the bike, they just smashed it. The ones that really, I think, when I talk with my good friend Brian Ashby, who I know is up in Taupo for Ironman this weekend, he just talks about those are the guys who just came out and just said, right, we're not going to pace certain things. We're going to get in the water, go as fast as we can, get out of the water, go as fast as we can on the bike, and to get our shoes on and run as fast as we can. That's a super performance by Hayden Wild.
Yeah, it really
super
is.
Performance.
And we've got a world-class, absolute world-class athlete in Hayden Wild. And look, Matt Baxter, he ran 13:27 this year. He is a genuine Olympic potential in the 5K. So for Hayden to drop him in that last lap, sure, Hayden, Matt's had a few injury woes in the last few weeks, few niggles, so he probably wasn't 100%, but look, the win went to Hayden, and what an exciting race!
Absolutely outstanding.
It'll take me
race.
a while to get to sleep tonight.
Oh, I was going to say you might need to have some of that sun rum that you were talking about before. That was a superb finish, though, to what's been a very good opening day of the Gillian Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Nationals. Here you are, the medals being presented. That's Bernadine Oliver Kirby doing the job as the medal presenter. That's Tian Velpin getting the bronze. Hamish Gill is that with the silver. Edward Osai and Ketia ran a 10.46 into a very minor headwind. Just with what you want to see from certain athletes. Yeah, he got pipped at the Capital Classic, but the big stage, the big performers do just that. And that was a wonderful performance from all of the sprinters. Zoe Hobbs dominant as well. You see the shot put as we're in our final round, which will conclude the opening day. That's Nick Ballantyne. He's been doing some work as part of the group that Tom Walsh has around him. Julia Radcliffe, done with her day, 70, and another national championship as well for Julia. Is just outside our commentary box.
So I mentioned before, we thought that Ben Moynihan had got the bronze. It was Cam Graves who just pipped him by a second at the finish line to get the bronze in the 5K. So,
Yep. Moynihan 4th, Connor Melton of Canterbury 5th, Christopher Dryden of Canterbury in 6th, Jacob Pretty of Otago in 7th, and rounding out your top 8 was Isaac Murphy of Wellington. And as Hayden Shearman has alluded to, that opening, the winning time for Hayden Wild, 14 minutes, 13.86 seconds. Here is Ryan Ballantyne asking the crowd to give him a little bit of encouragement, and the crowd respond nicely as well.
So this man desperately wants to get over 20 metres. He's been getting closer and closer all season long.
Oh!
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 No, he went out the front. The red flag signifies a foul throw.
And
that one would have been close to that PB,
Yeah.
which currently sits at 1984.
Yeah, we're looking where that marker was going to go, and it was probably just shy of that 20-metre mark. So, wow, we're going to see more of Ryan Ballantyne. We were talking last night with a bunch of the Athletics New Zealand team. If we got 3 men over 20 metres, we would be one of 3 countries in the world right now to have that. Poland and USA have it. That would just put our shot puts. I mean, we already know we've got so much depth, of which this man's included.
Well, here it is. This is his shot. He needs 21.71 to put some serious heat on old mate Tom Walsh. Jack O'Gill out of Auckland. Best of the night. 21.07. That was his opening throw.
Oh, that one was low and fast across the. He didn't get too much height, but boy, he put a lot of power behind that one. It's over 20 metres. It won't be an improvement, but he came ready to play tonight, and we haven't seen much of him all summer long, and he really showed up.
It's a good performance. 20.38, so there you go. So the 21.07 remains. So this is the final throw for Tom Walsh. It is what they call it, the X Games and that sort of thing's a swag run. But he will be really looking to send this one out. Crowd urging him on. Tom Walsh.
Hometown
What's
hero.
he got for us? Does he like it? Again, frustrated. He claps. Thanks the crowd, and it's a good crowd that has been here at Napuniwai. Yep.
Said something in French.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
he
what
did.
that was.
He's frustrated because he knows literally it is right at the end of his fingertips. He has been speaking all summer about how he is trying to transfer that speed across the circle and just everything surging up out the arm and through right to the end of the fingertips. But that is another national title, title number 11
Incredible.
for Tom Walsh
And
in
look,
the senior men's shot put.
Unless your name is Ryan Krauser, everyone else in the world would love to be throwing the shot put as far as this man. And he's just such a professional. He's always wanting to get more out of himself. And this time of year, you know, you're in that off-season phase where you're trying to put on muscle mass. You're adding weight on the bar, so the focus might not be on the performance as such. It might be more in the gym, prepping more for the July end of the season. But what a fantastic night we've had.
They're getting ready to get an opportunity to have a chat with Edward Osai Nketia, the national 100 metres senior men's champion. He is with Jake O'Flaherty right now.
Well, the New Zealand media was reporting on your race. The country was watching, and now you're a New Zealand champion. How does that sit with you?
Man, going back to back feels like it feels really special to me, especially doing it in my home country. Like it's actually a special thing, and I'm actually pretty pleased with myself for doing that.
We were talking before. It's a little windy here today, and you're from Wellington, so surely you're accustomed to these conditions, maybe.
My coach said, "Hi, we always train in these conditions, so it doesn't really harm us."
And looking forward for you, you know, does this put you in a good mindset going forward?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like this time last year, I did my hamstring and like an Aussie Nats popped up with 10.19. So like hoping we could do the same, but without the hammy, and I'm feeling a bit more healthier. So like hoping we could go faster.
there seems to be a bit of a buzz with you. Just quickly, how does that all feel? Everyone's sort of asking you for photos, coming up with you. How does that sit with you?
Actually, like, it just makes me feel like, wow, I actually made it. Like, people want photos of me. I'm like, wow, I'm pretty shocked because like I thought I would never get it this far, to be honest.
Mate, well, congratulations for your efforts today.
Thank you so much, sir.
That is Jake O'Flaherty speaking with Edward Osai in Ketia. The fastest man in New Zealand for 2020, Zoe Hobbs, the fastest woman. We will be back again tomorrow. Your coverage starting at 11 o'clock on Sky Sport Next, the YouTube channel. The Jenny and Holmes New Zealand Track and Field Championships. A wonderful, wonderful day as we start getting ready to pack up Hayden Sherman. You've been here all day. We've seen good stuff this morning. We've seen a great 5,000 metre race for the men. We've seen Tom Walsh deliver. We saw Dame Valerie Adams pipped again by a Canadian. We've
Another
seen
Canadian.
a 70 metre throw as well by Julia Radcliffe and a solid, if not spectacular, performance by Hamish Kerr as well.
Yeah.
Good evening session matching the day.
We've seen the stars come to the party, and it really shows the professionalism of the top ranks, just consistently performing. So Zoe Hobbs, Eddie, Hamish Kerr in the high jump. Also that fantastic race with Charlie Miller and Becky Green in the 5,000. That was exciting. And then the highlight for me was seeing the triathlete Hayden Wild coming through for a 5,000 metre title on the track. So it's been a fantastic night. And more action to come. We've got still 2 more days to go of this stuff.
Hayden Sherman will be part of the commentary team that is going to bring you the action. Beginning tomorrow morning, we are back. Day 2, the Jenny and Home Track and Field National Championships. Napunewai in Christchurch, 11 o'clock. You be here on the Sky Sport Next YouTube channel on behalf of the team that has brought you this evening's session, the super session on day 1 of the Jenny and Homes National Track and Field Championships. Nigel Yolden wishing you a very good evening.